All right, so I think the stream thinking about them is ready to go though. So hello everybody, Mega ZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting
Mm.
podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 90, the big 9. Oh man, we've been keeping that this mess for a while now, Steven. I have to say, not too shabby, not too shabby though. But we have quite a bit of stuff to go through and talk about. At least what has transpired within the past couple of weeks. Obviously the biggest nugget in the room is the Pokemon leaks, which oh shoot, when we get to it, yeah, things are gonna be definitely going down for sure though. But then also we had a couple of gaming releases stuff that happened in the past couple of weeks. Dragon Ball Spark and Zero, I've been loving the heck out of that. And then obviously Super Mario Party Jamboree. Both me and you've been having some solid times up in there. Hey, at least I got in some early W's. I'll say that, Steven, though. So good stuff right there. Analog 3D has came out with a Nintendo 64 solution thing. So hey, I'm a 64 kid at heart, so I got to talk about that. And then a whole lot of other stuff in between all of that though. But Steven, how's your week been going?
My week has been going pretty good, honestly. It's mostly been getting home and playing games because a lot's happening. It's
Yeah,
that busy. It's that busy part because next week, what I got Sonic X Shadow coming out, which I'm playing, obviously, and then there's something else at the end of October, and then we're immediately into Mario and Luigi season.
yeah. I've
Which
been trying to keep up with all these games that have been coming out, and I felt like I was doing pretty all right for the most part, but a few games fell in the cracks for me. Like Visions of Mana fell into the crack a little bit, and the Miles Edgeworth duology thing with the investigation fell in the crack. But I mean, the Ace Attorney games, I always make time for it whenever I have free time. And it's not like a game you got to rush through and blitz right away or whatever. Though, like the game's been out for a hot minute since the DS or
yeah,
whatnot, though. So when I got time, I'll get around and finish to those. I ain't too worried about it because I didn't even
yeah,
finish the 4, 5, 6 trilogy that released in January until like August of this year. So it took like February, March, April, May, June, July. It took me about
and
7 months to finish all three of those games. So yeah.
yeah, and I got MEO sitting on my shelf waiting.
Oh man, that's a good game, Steven. I'm telling
I
you. Ooh,
know. It's
ooh.
trust me. I don't just buy games for them to sit on my shelf. It will eventually be played.
I like how you said buy games to sit on the shelf, and meanwhile I turn over here looking at my corner. I'm like out of my eye, and I'm like, wait a minute.
I
I
buy
still
games
hadn't.
on Steam that sit in my library. There's a difference.
Well, yeah, that's clearly a difference. And then
If
I
I
started
buy
thinking about what was it? The Mario Rabbids one, Sparks of Hope. I bought that sucker. I don't think I popped the plastic off of it. I keep forgetting I have that sucker sitting in my library. I was like, gosh, dang.
that game did not do well, but that game people are gonna look fondly on that game. That game's gonna be, as much as I hate to say it, a hidden gem of the Switch library.
It probably will be. I'll get around to hopefully before before we get that Switch 2 eventually in our hands. Hopefully. That's the goal.
Yeah,
That's
and
the end game goal.
also since we're talking about upcoming games, and it's probably kind of just happened today. Could call it quote unquote breaking news, if you will. But Mario and Luigi is now in the wild.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we might as well go ahead and throw that public service announcement out there, though, because I saw that when I was coming home. No, not coming home. I was at work today, and I was looking at that mess, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw some image of someone holding it with a whole case full of them, and I'm like, that's not no manager at GameStop with like a bunch of like the
Um,
cases, and they're taking the cartridges out and sitting behind the counter. I'm like, oh man,
Honestly,
this sucker elite.
I think you're right about some kind of probably something like that,
It
where it
has
was
to
some
because
kind of
there's
store
no way your
manager.
average person's gonna have that many copies of one single game like that. Like,
Well, yeah.
mm. But yeah. So if you're weary about spoilers, then kind of keep your head on the swivel. If you're on places like Twitter and stuff, you might want to start going through and leaving blocking out a few different words and stuff like that though. Because I'm used to Nintendo games leaking at least a week early, but 2 weeks. Wait,
Yeah.
is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks early? No, I think it's 2 weeks
Um,
early. I think it's about 2 weeks early.
November 7th. It's a little more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, like 2.5 weeks. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
which
Mm.
that's a lot. That's like Tears of the Kingdom leaking, which yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, man, so yeah, we have quite a bit to go through and talk about, so we might as well go ahead and get this show on the road, Steven. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into our pop culture segment. Alrighty, so I will say this: this one definitely caught me by surprise. The fact that Disney, along with a collaboration of one other company out here, literally putting out a Buzz Lightyear, not a toy. It's kind of funny with the references to the movie though, but a robotic action figure is being sold for $600 for Buzz Lightyear. And at first, I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, was this like 1 to 1? I was trying to figure out why this was like $600 until I started looking at this footage a little bit more because Wario64 tweeted this mess out though. And you can literally program this robot to do a whole bunch of things. And I was like, wait
Yeah.
a gosh dang second over here though. I was like, dang, is this where we at with toys nowadays? Like we don't just have simple things we just kind of play around with. Now it's getting more so into like the
Well,
computer programming side of things. It's cool,
well,
don't get me wrong. I just ain't got six hundred
listen,
dollars for it.
no, no kid is getting this unless their family is wealthy. This is more of a collector's item, I feel. It's still cool if any kids get their hand on it and it actually helps them like learn programming. That's kind of cool. Um, I kind of looked into like what else this company has made after this. Me and like Sonic, you and a couple other people were just watching a video about it. Uh, you know, we were watching. They did like the same company. This company is called a RoboSen. They
Mhm.
did like a actual, animatronic. Well, okay, animatronic's the wrong word. Uh, I guess it's a robotic action figure of both Megatron and Optimus Prime from Transformers. And they actually can transform, and you could program them with animations just like Buzz Lightyear. But like, you could as it's voice activated, so you tell Optimus Prime to transform and he does it with all the sounds and stuff.
Yeah, that I can
They're
see that one
they're
too.
very they are crazy figures. You just gotta I'd have to send you the video of what I seen, but basically if you have both Optimus Prime and Megatron, you could have them fight. They will respond to each other's voice commands.
What the heck?
Yeah, and not to mention that these things are completely robotic. They have like servos and whatever in every single joint. You can make these things walk. You can make them dance.
Man, that's saying something where we where we're currently at in
Yeah,
2024.
yeah,
And I
and
feel like,
especially
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, sorry, I was gonna say, especially for Buzz Lightyear, the way that he kind of moves, the way he's animated in the Toy Story movies, is kind of robotic in a way. At least more than like Woody, for example.
Oh yeah,
Right.
especially those earlier films for sure.
Yeah, so something like this makes perfect sense. It's gonna be a really cool collector's item. Um, I kind of hope this company does like more stuff. Whether it's just more robot characters animated like this. At least from Disney movies, a Wally would be nice. It's probably been done,
I don't know if Wally's been done though, but I
like a
guess if
fully
you,
robotic Wally.
yeah, yeah, I think those movie collaborations are probably definitely the way to go though. But it's crazy how you're able to program this thing with your phone and then being able to do stuff with your computer and stuff like. So it's definitely a cool learning thing. Now, look, I ain't gonna spend no $600 on this thing though. But if someone were to plop that thing in front of me, of course I would mess around with the thing. I think that's pretty cool
Oh
though.
yeah,
So no, I think that's one good Disney collaboration right there. It's crazy how expensive it has to be though, but it kind of makes sense when you start looking at
yeah.
all the tech inside of
But
the
like
thing.
from what I've seen, these things are really, really well made. Which with that much money, I'd hope so.
Yeah. Just hope that you don't have your like 3-year-old cousin or sibling or something like that that gets their hands on this thing. Cause oh shoot, you have to put that thing underneath lock and key.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine like getting water in this or something.
Oh, good night.
It ruins it.
And it does not fly, people. It does not fly. I
You
like
can
how
have
they.
the wings come out, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's kind of they did that little promotional thing too with it though, and I was like, But
I
yeah.
yeah, doing one that could fly would be literally impossible.
Oh goodness. Well,
Like like
we say
like
impossible now, but wait 30 years from now,
no, I know that, but like it literally would be impossible with how physics work and like
Oh,
the
I mean
weight,
that would be
all
like,
of the
yeah, it would be
robotic
like
parts in it.
airplane stuff. Yeah, yeah. No, that thing would probably have to flat.
It would have to be jet powered,
Yeah.
which they're not doing that. That you think the price is expensive now. Imagine like a $2,000 Buzz Lightyear action figure. Oh my god.
Oh no, no, no. We can't do that. That's too much. That's out of the
I
budget.
know.
Ooh. But yeah, outside of that, wasn't too much more to say about it though. But I found it cool enough. I was like, I got to at least rep my Toy Story stuff though, because that's one of the better Pixar films and stuff though. So when I saw this, I was like, I have to at least give it my little quick little thoughts up on it on the pod. So pretty cool stuff, Disney. Pretty cool. All right, and then lastly, in terms of one of our other pop culture segment things though, which ties into the the gaming atmosphere just a little bit, we finally have a stinking release date for the Nintendo World, amusement park for the one that's going to open up in Orlando over there in Florida. And we got the date, Steven. It's May 2025. Go ahead and mark your calendar. All right. I'll see you down there, assuming if that,
All right.
there ain't no bad hurricanes and stuff, which, rest, hearts out there to all the people that have been experiencing the storms thus far, though. Shoot, I can only imagine, though. But man, I'm really looking forward to going to this theme park because there was no way I was gonna go all the way over there to California and do that unless I was doing like a whole bunch of other stuff over there. Nah, I'd rather go over here to Florida, and I know it's technically closer for you as well to go to Florida versus California.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a drive away. I've driven close to Florida before.
But
Like
yeah,
it's not that much further than North Carolina, which I go to frequently.
yeah. And I like how this one is it's gonna have everything up in it though. So obviously, yeah, that's gonna make the Hollywood studio one feel a little outdated because you also have the Donkey Kong side stuff as well though. So you're getting a lot of bang out of your buck on this one though. Man, I just know how crowded and crazy it's gonna be on opening weekend though. Ooh, my goodness. Yeah, I ain't
Yeah.
whenever I go, it ain't gonna be like I ain't gonna time it up to be there at May because there's gonna be some kinks and stuff they're gonna have to work out and stuff like that though. So it'll be later in the summer, probably like 3 months later or something like that though. So we'll see, we'll see. All righty. Well, outside of all of that, Steven, that's going to about do it in terms of our pop culture segment news. So let's go ahead and jump straight up into what's in the gaming news. All righty. So we're going to start things off with a little bit of PlayStation news to kind of kick things off, though. So apparently, I think it was right around what was it? Not necessarily Comic Con, but like whatever they call that convention up there in New York,
Yeah, New
which
York Comic Con.
yeah, yeah, okay, that's what y'all call it up there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's the same
you should
convention.
be going to one of those events. I mean, you literally live up there in
Multiple
the
no,
area.
well, you say that multiple people from my job went there.
Dang. See, you could have gave me the inside scoop on what was happening there, and we could have probably had even a bigger pop culture or some
Yeah,
gaming stuff though. Man,
probably.
I could have had boots
But
on the ground for the
listen,
people,
if
man.
I'm if I'm going to a Comic Con, it would be like San Diego Comic Con. I would be going to one of the big ones.
I mean, that's probably the most convenient one that you have over there. It's not like the absolute biggest one with the New York one though, but that's like secondary. It's not terrible.
Yeah, but like, San Diego Comic Con's where all the cool stuff gets announced. There's a lot more panels. I would love to be at like one of those panels where stuff gets revealed, for the first time.
Yeah,
When they show like sneak previews of things that you can't really record at all, stuff like that.
yeah. Because like what that last one we had was when they announced Robert Downey Jr. playing as Doctor Doom. So yeah, that one was pretty big.
Well, not
So
even just the Marvel stuff. At least for me, the stuff with shows is always very interesting. Like, I don't well, I know you haven't watched it. The, show Invincible on Prime Video, got renewed for, I think, up to season 4,
Hmm, okay.
and, like, there was news about season 3. You've probably heard of it. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of shows have been getting, a lot of shows have been getting news that I've been very interested in. Back when I fucking back when I used to watch cartoons regularly, there was always panels with new info at Comic Con.
Hmm,
I haven't watched cable TV in fucking years though at this point.
yeah, I know a lot of.
I would probably just go to meet people. Like my one of my cousins goes to conventions all the time, and they got me a signed poster of Charles Martinet.
Oh, I didn't know you had that. What the heck?
Yeah, I haven't hung it up because my room's a fucking mess, but I have it. I'll
Hmm,
hang it
okay.
up when I move.
All right. Well, I felt like we went on this long tangent though, but it was
Well, yeah,
centered around
Comic-Con's cool.
yeah, around New York Comic Con though. But they did manage to give us the announcement that Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC, which honestly, when I started looking at, other PlayStation games, their big first party games coming to PC, I felt like this one's probably been the quickest turnaround. It doesn't seem like it's super quick because the game did come out in 2023, but when you compare it with the actual months and days after release, like I think it might have been like one of the fastest turnaround times though. But it is slated to release on January 30th for PC though. And it seems like it's going to basically have all of the post quote unquote DLC or some slight improvements and stuff that they did after the game released or whatever though. They're going to have all of that on their day one. So it's basically going to be on par with everything that you have in the PS5 version, though. So it's like, okay, if you've been a PC owner and you want to, dip your toe up in this game, good stuff right here. Good stuff. I still stand by this
I
point. 2023, that was my personal game of the year right there. It was a great
Now
experience.
listen, I've only played like an hour of this game,
Oh
and
shoot, Steven. How on earth you
no,
had
oh
no,
no,
this
if you
game
want
came
me to
out in
be,
October of
yes,
2023,
all
and
right,
you had a
from
stinking whole year to finish that gosh dang game. And you mean to tell me you still hadn't gone through and finished it outside the first hour?
I went back to it another time. It just hasn't hooked me.
Oh
That
my
game doesn't.
goodness.
I'm just telling you, like, I know it's gonna sound stupid because you didn't have to deal with it. I just hate looking at Peter Parker's and Mary Jane's fucking face models. Like, as somebody that played the original game, it just doesn't look right.
Goodness. I don't
Not
think
not to
Mary
be.
Jane's is too bad from her, I guess, OG. I can
I
understand
just
why you
don't
say Peter
understand the
Parker,
change.
but
I personally just don't get it.
I think the only reason why they would have changed it was the fact that they know that this Peter Parker was going to get older and look a little bit
He,
different. But
no,
if they
he's got
started
a
off with
completely
that,
different facial structure.
yeah, no, I mean like, but if they started off with that first original one from the PS4 and then worked it up, it's like, oh man, we're gonna make this dude look too old. I mean, that's the only reason that I could personally think of with that one
No,
though.
he doesn't. He does not look any different between Spider-Man Remastered and this new one. That's
I see a little bit, but it's not drastic like what you're saying. I don't know. But for me, it doesn't bother me because I started off playing the remaster one, so I know the one. But obviously, you played the PS4 versions and stuff.
yeah. Listen, I played Miles Morales and I liked it, but the story was not all that great. I don't know. Just the characters and the story of Miles Morales did not really interest me. And from what I've heard about this new one, from friends I know that have played it, like, and also just stuff I've seen, doesn't really look all that engaging to me. And listen, it's good that people have it on PC now. I just think it's really funny the PS5 has now lost another game.
I mean, at this point in the game, I mean, yes, it technically did, but at the same point, that PC ecosystem is almost a whole entire another beast when you look at the other
Yeah, I
three with
guess.
their console markets and stuff.
Yeah,
Because
but
if you're
it,
still talking about
so
console markets, it's still there technically. Because
yeah, but
not
at the
everybody and
same
their mom is going to play
time,
a game on PC.
no, I
That's just how
completely
I view it.
understand that. but at the same time, Zard, consoles are so big now. Like the actual consoles are so large that you are just better if you're spending fucking 700 on a PS5 Pro, for example. You might as well just go the extra mile and get a PC that can do everything. You can play games that come exclusively to PC. Everything comes to PC, and then just have a Switch as well.
To the dedicated hardcore gamer like one of us, that makes perfect sense. But once again, Steven, I have to always keep reminding you about this because there's a huge audience of people out there for this, though. Them filthy casuals, the people
Is
that are
Spider-Man
the
2
people.
a casual game though?
No, no, no. I'm just talking about just a general casual, the people that go to work 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever shift they are. They're probably on their computer all day long. They get home, they don't want to be in front of a computer anymore. The ease
Oh,
of
so they sit
access,
in front of
not yeah, and not wanting to
well,
tinker
no.
around with settings. They just want to boot up a console, sit down in front of their TV on the couch, pull up a
Well,
controller, and just play the game. That
so what you're
that's
saying is
still a
they like
huge amount of people that I think a lot of
yes.
people still can't wrap their mind around. At least people,
Well,
that really are hardcore gamers that will probably have like PC, Switch, maybe a PlayStation 5 like me. Like I
yeah.
have all three of those.
Well, crazy opinion. People like that are fucking stupid because it's the consoles nowadays are literally just computers, but they restrict them to do less.
Hey,
Like
that ease of access and that convenience factor is a huge drawing point. The reason why
I
we still
complete
got them PS5 still
yeah,
selling
but at the
despite
same
all
time,
the
half
cost raising and everything else.
half of those people that are buying PS5s and have these 9 to 5 shifts and this and that and get home from a long day, they just go home and play like fucking Call of Duty or 2K. They don't even play any of these actual games, these exclusives. That which is why they're bringing them to PC. Do you really think that they're bringing these to PC just to make people happy? No.
No, they're just trying to get extra money. Cause I
Yeah.
mean, cause I
Yeah,
know
well,
they're
yeah,
always
because
looking at games such as like what Helldivers 2 and stuff. And right around the launch of that, like it easily sold almost around 7 million
yeah,
for consoles slash also PC. So grand total like 14 million.
that
So I
game.
know they're really trying to look at diving into the PC market after looking at successful games like that.
Yeah, and I know for a fact Helldivers that was a lot of people on PC specifically. Um, I was gonna say Power World is also just a good example of a game on PC, s- but also released on consoles, but the PC version did much better. We are in the age where more people do have PCs. I'm not saying that nobody has a PC, but at the same time, especially because you look at the PS5 Pro, just a very marginal upgrade. There's no use. There's no point.
Yeah.
At least I don't see a point.
Yeah. I
But yeah,
don't
that
know.
annoys me. Spider-Man 2 is probably a hopefully the PC port is fine. Because what was it with The Last of Us? Do you remember with The Last of Us, the PC port kind of sucked?
Yeah. I mean, it did kind of suck.
Right?
Oh, wait, hold on. Steven ain't hearing me. Hold on here. Dang it, Discord. Okay, there we go. Dang it, Discord,
Right.
making me look bad. All right, there you are, Steven. You hear me now?
I yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, I did
Yeah.
something settings on my computer and it threw it off, and Discord, it hated
I
that. I don't know.
Well, all I was saying, I was ranting for a bit, but basically what I was saying was hopefully the port is not unoptimized like crazy, like the Last of Us Part One port was.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember hearing about that. That port was like awful to the point where Last of Us was getting like overly negative reviews on Steam.
Yeah, that's the one thing
And
is like when they
I
drop these PC games out, they have to be done right on day one. Like you had all this extra time to work on
yeah,
it. It's not like a brand new game when it drops on PC. It's been out already on their consoles, so it's like you can't really
yeah.
fumble the ball, really.
I just like how, half the time when these games are revealed, they're like, you can only experience this on PS5, or the power of the PS5 allows us to do this.
Hey, Mark
Like,
Cerny, that's his
yeah,
marketing pitch right there. The power of the
yeah.
PlayStation
But
5.
that's fine, but at the same time, that was a good pitch back when this was acceptable. Like back when even just PS4 era, a lot less people had PCs, and gaming ones at that especially were not as common. People had old desktop PCs, you know.
Yeah.
Now people are actually, growing up. Us, as much as I hate to say this, us gamers are growing up and getting jobs and buying our own gaming PCs instead of having to buy consoles because we, couldn't make our own $2,000.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, like I'm like, of course, Sony bringing these games to PC is a good thing, but more and more, I just struggle to understand how PlayStation survives as a brand on the console side.
Hey,
It really is just
I
a
like how
goddamn
this is the
casual
last thing
gateway.
I'm gonna say about this, and we're gonna roll over to the next topic. You failed to
Yeah,
underestimate the power of that PlayStation audience cult. Like they literally are a cult of people. There's those
you're
people
damn
that will go out and buy every PlayStation no matter what, and
oh yeah,
they're no,
any
you know,
there's the same people. Was it the X people call them the X bots and the Sony ponies? Anyone that like overly defends a certain company and try and like bashes their rival. Like, do you see people posting, "Oh, Xbox, this new Xbox game sucks. The PS5 is better." I see it all over still. I don't get how the console wars are still around. But yeah, moving on from that. In my opinion, the weirdest thing about this Spider-Man 2 PC announcement is that they have confirmed there are going to be no story DLC plans for this game.
yeah. In which I know a lot of people that threw a lot
Oh,
of people into a tizzy because of the fact that when you think back to them in Insomniac leaks, they did have some slideshows where it was thought of that they were possibly working on some stuff. However, you have to remind yourself things change from a day to day basics whenever you're going through and developing games, potential DLC and stuff like that. Like, thoughts and decisions change based upon business models and the best interest for the gaming developers. Because who knows, they might have had all these ideas, but they're like, wait a minute, what if this is too much? We're just going to create a side spin-off game, like potentially a Venom game, and we want to incorporate all that stuff into that. Or maybe there were some other elements in it where it's like, you know what, we can just put this in the backlog for that Spider-Man 3 eventually when we get around to making that game, and just put those things up in the there. So in their best interest, it might have just not worked out for them to do DLC for this rather than save those and use them for our future projects. I,
I
that's
guess
probably
so.
my train of thinking on probably what happened with all of that. But a lot of
Yeah,
people just want it because it's like what they really love the game. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I would still love to have that DLC, but I mean, if it helps future games, then hey, I'm okay. But yeah, so I think outside of that, that about does it in terms of all of the Spider-Man 2 talks. I didn't think we'll kind of get back around to talking about this game again. Well, outside the fact that it's coming to PC though. But hey, I got to talk about something Marvel related in every show, one way or the other. We didn't have any other
I
major
guess you're
news,
right.
but uh, I guess Sony had us this time though.
Well,
All
there
right, so
was new episodes of that Agatha show, but I could
well,
care
yeah,
less. And I
right
haven't
now in
watched
that
it.
Agatha show, we're on episode. Okay, I can't remember what episode we're on, but we only got 3 more episodes left, and it's getting a little. It's getting a little spicy. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so that's gonna do it in terms of that. Now, oh shoot, we got the shocker over here, boys, because we were playing some Mario Party Jamboree one night, and then Mario hopped in one of our Discord calls, and Mario, one of our friends, hopped up in one of our
Yeah.
Discord calls and said, "Banjo Tooie's out on NSO." We all let out a collective cry, like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, no. Like one of our friends, Sonic, he literally, it's fucking startled me. Like he was like, "What?" Like really loud, and it scared the hell out of me. But like, yeah, I guess Banjo Tooie is like one of his favorite games.
yeah, and yeah, because I mean, Banjo Kazooie, the first one was a pretty good classic, and we didn't know at the time whether or not Microsoft will play ball with Nintendo and let them have that, even though in the back of everybody's mind, or at least those that grew up with a Nintendo 64, strongly associate Banjo. and Kazooie in general with Nintendo, even though it's technically owned by Microsoft now, even though, Microsoft doesn't really, do too much with Rare outside of Sea of Thieves, but I digress. But whenever you hear stuff like this, it's so crazy how it's like, man, we get people raving over a ancient old game now at this point that released on the 64, yet we still don't have
Ancient
a
old
brand
game.
new game for the series and such. And I'm like, gosh dang, I don't know what in the world Microsoft is
Yeah.
thinking, which is interesting because they did put out a little bit of a quote at like one of their
Oh, not
business
that.
earning meetings or something like that. And it was like one of the people over there, at least in the financial sides, and it's like, and he said something on the lines of, wait, hold on, let me see if I can pull up the
He
exact quote.
said nobody cares about Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah, and then he
Is
turned
what he
around and said that
said.
mess, and I'm like, bruh, and the timing on that is so funny, considering how the
What?
fact that the game started the trend on Twitter the moment that this was announced on NSO, and it was trending for at least a good 2 days or so. And I was like, dang.
Yeah, like wow, nobody cares about it. Definitely. I mean, yeah, good one, Mr. Executive.
And then people started
Like,
calling out you think back to when Banjo Kazooie got announced for Smash Brothers and stuff, just little things like that. And it's like, dang, I was like, you gotta at least
well,
give your
yeah,
audience a bone.
yeah. Like, why would you buy the company that makes Banjo Kazooie and keep the IP to yourself if you're not gonna use it? Like, if you're not gonna use it, then just give it to somebody else. If nobody cares about Banjo, I guess they literally just want the money from like merch sales because I'm pretty sure that's all they're doing is selling merch.
At this point, yes, because I
It
felt like
annoys the hell
Nintendo
out of
with
me.
their crossovers with NSO has done more with it than Microsoft ever had
Well,
since the
yeah,
moment that they
I
bought it.
don't. In the Nintendo Museum, Banjo Kazooie is front and center as one of the four games they use to represent the N64.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that first Banjo Kazooie, they think Mario 64, they think Ocarina of Time, and probably Smash Brothers as well, or Mario Kart 64, one of those couple other games. But yeah, ooh,
It
man,
annoys me, honestly. But no, back to the topic at hand. Tui coming on NSO is cool, especially because it has widescreen support. Like,
yeah.
of course, I would prefer if this was the Xbox 360 version, which was 60 FPS and widescreen.
Hey,
And it's
some
also kind
people
of
really do
weird.
like their classics. For a lot of people, I think it will be fine
Yeah.
with the way how the 64 feeling is,
Well,
but just having
yeah,
a
but like,
widescreen and looking pretty close to
yeah,
HD. I mean,
it's just
shoot, it looks
yeah, it's
fine
just
to
kind of
me.
weird though. It's well, it looks fine, yeah, but like the fact of the matter is like there is a better way to play this game. It's just weird that you wouldn't do that.
I mean, I guess they're trying to keep it somewhat faithful, but also have a new spin on it though. Because like in terms of the enhanced N64 games that kind of went out of the
Yeah, but
way,
it's
like what we
weird.
had
Like
GoldenEye, now we have this, and I thought there was one other one.
Jet Force
Jet Force
Gemini,
Gemini has widescreen too.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eh,
it's mostly
mm.
the Rare games because I guess Rare maybe Nintendo has some sort of deal with them. But the thing that makes no sense to me, why didn't Banjo 1 get this?
Well, I don't know. Well,
The
that was
per-
before we started
Especially
getting no, because we didn't start getting the widescreen support stuff until like GoldenEye came out, and then ever
well,
since
hopefully
that
they
point,
update
I
it.
think that's when they did it. I don't think they're gonna go through and update this mess, Steven.
It's
It's
just
too
gonna
much
be
work
so
for them on the
distracting.
aftermath.
It's just gonna be so weird playing the original in 4:3 and then the other one in widescreen unless it's an option. I
I
don't
mean, it
know.
could be partially that. Who knows if source code had anything to play with? I don't know.
They have the source code. They definitely have the source code.
Mhm. I don't know, but at this point, if they already put it out, I don't think we ever seen a game that was in the NSO service for any game, like whether it be NES, Super Nintendo, 64, GBA, or Game Boy or whatever, or even the Sega Genesis, where they later went back and updated a specific game in general to have major features like a widescreen support. Because remember, they did some minor stuff. Like, remember how Ocarina of Time didn't play as good originally, but now it does? Outside of minor things like that, it wasn't like nothing major, like a brand new widescreen mode. They never went back and touched an individual
There,
game
yeah,
like that.
there are still problems with N64 Online, but it's mostly better. At least for me, having all of the Mario Party games on there is nice.
Yeah, no, that's a really nice touch.
And they still don't have Donkey Kong 64, and they still don't have Smash. But once they have those, it's basically complete.
Well, Donkey Kong 64, Smash Brothers, Diddy Kong Racing, and I want Conker's Bad Fur Day because you have the stupid mature app now where you have no excuse to put that mess up on there. Once I get all
Yeah,
four of those games, I don't care what they drop out on the N64 at that point, though. They're just going to be some deep
yeah.
cuts or potentially hidden gems that I just never knew about. Now, I might just dabble with them, though. But those are the last four games I'm asking for personally.
Well, Conquer they can definitely do, but are they gonna want to? Is Nintendo gonna want to even put out a trailer for that game, knowing the
Hey, they can
contents?
keep it simple and they can keep it clean, all right?
Well,
It
even
ain't,
well,
ain't
even
that
worse, they
complicated.
could even worse, they could possibly censor the game, which would be the worst option.
No, they can censor the trailer all they want. They don't have to show all the
No, I'm talking about the
crazy stuff.
game.
No, 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 no. I'm
What if what
talking
if
about if
what
they're
if
going to censor anything, they censor the trailer where
hopefully?
it's somewhat okay online when you look at it though. But then obviously when you get into the game itself, then it's just raw and unhinged. I'll be perfectly fine with that. Whatever things they got to pull to get the game to come out, that's all I'm asking for.
Well,
Please,
yeah,
I will
have to.
stream that mess.
It's really funny to me, Zard. Usually you don't like the overly violent or overly gross stuff, but Conquer is like that weird one that got you, I
It's
guess.
90s unhinged humor, man. I'm telling you, it's perfect.
Yeah, but especially that game, it's got some stuff that I would never expect you to like.
No, it's just funny. It's just cheesy because you
Well,
don't
yeah.
expect that mess back
Well,
then.
yeah. My personal favorite is the Great Mighty Pooh.
Uh, all right,
But
well
yeah,
we can keep
um,
raving on and on about 64
yeah.
things.
Speaking of NSO though, you want to talk about the other NSO thing that happened since we're on the topic?
No, I don't have that mess in order right now, like that. But we'll
Okay.
circle
We'll get
back
back to it.
around
But
to it.
yeah, a lot of stuff with NSO happening. We'll get to it later.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and flip it on over. Well, while we were talking about 64 stuff, we'll keep the 64 train going because Analog managed to come out with an announcement for some pre-orders for a longly anticipated product coming right off the heels of the Analog Pocket, and they're calling this device the Analog 3D. I mean, it would have made sense for them to do an Analog 64, but I guess they didn't want Nintendo breathing down their back though. But essentially, this is like a device similar to the Analog Pocket where it allows you to play your physical Nintendo 64 games, and they managed to do a lot of hops, hops and jumps and leaps in terms of like how they managed to work around with that original hardware. And it's not necessarily like emulation, but it's like perfectly emulating to a degree Nintendo 64 games with just outputting it into like 4K, just HD to your televisions and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? Unlike the Analog Pocket, which I have a few GBA games I guess technically could work with it, I have more 64 games I'm more nostalgic about that I'm like, okay, this system will actually make a lot of sense for me personally because of the fact that my Nintendo 64 that I have currently sitting it only really works on like my old CRT TV. I have no way to play it on a modern day television or whatever though. And I was like, and then I started looking at this one. I was like, dang, we could finally fix and remedy this mess to where at least then I can play everything from the 64 on up to the Switch all on my TV. I'm like, And then I started looking into the features of this thing, and it's like, oh, you can use original 64 controllers and plug them up in here. You can sync up Bluetooth controllers up in there. They have Wi Fi, but I think that's just more so for updates. And then you have like USB slots in the back, an SD card slot, which I know people are going to use that to hack into the system and probably emulate or play whatever games you want up on there though,
Well,
because
yeah.
they knew that the community was going to eventually do that though. But
Well, yeah.
overall, I'm really looking forward to this, and pre-orders go up later this week. I'll talk about that more. But Steven, what are your thoughts on this thing?
I think it looks pretty cool. I think it's just nice. Like, here's the thing: analog products are like really premium, so like I don't really like how much they charge for these. But like, it's nice to just have like an option on the market that can natively play these games. You just put in your own cartridges and play it like how you used to. It's the closest to the original experience with all of the modern modern stuff about it that is nice. Like it has 4K support, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be yeah. Whenever you plug it up to your TV, yeah, it's in 4K resolution, 10 times the resolution of the original Nintendo 64. But that part's like a little bit an asterisk because some games utilize the expansion pack to actually, output at like some higher fidelity or run the game just a little bit better. Because like obviously you had games like Donkey Kong 64 that required it, stuff like that. And then even some games that didn't require it, just having the expansion pack up in there kind of made some of the games just run a little bit better though. And of course they say it's 100% compatible with every original Nintendo 64 game that was ever made though. So yeah, that was just a little bit more information on there to kind of answer what you just said. Was there something else you were gonna say? I felt like I did cut you off.
No, not
Okay.
really.
Okay. But yeah, no, I was scrolling through this website right now, and it seems like oh gosh, dang, it's a good thing we had this podcast today. No, so depending on when you're listening to this podcast, these pre-orders may be sold out. But if you're listening to this before October 21st at 8 a.m. Pacific time, or it'll be like 10 p.m. Central time, my time, but it's like 11 in the morning your time, Steven, Eastern. That's when the pre-orders go up for this thing though. And if you know anything about analog stuff, like what you said, that premium build on it is pretty high. So I'd imagine for a lot of people, this is going to sell out somewhat kind of quick, and they don't really do pre-orders to the level that like next level. I was about to say next level games, to limited run games. They don't keep it open, see how many people are going to get it, and then go ahead and make orders based upon the amount of interest. No, they have a set amount of number of these things that are in production or what they plan on, and then eventually they'll probably release more waves, and they'll just be kind of come as you please though. But I ain't taking that shot at this thing though. They said it's going to release in the first quarter of 2025, so that should be January, February, or March ideally, assuming that they, hold up to their words on that though. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and shoot for it. I mean, I don't have to go to work until like 11 in the morning, so hey, I can be on my computer. I have that thing fired up. I'm gonna go ahead and order this mess though. And the nice cool thing about this thing, because it's Bluetooth supported, hey, I can just use the Nintendo 64 online controller and just sync that straight up to it though. And, I have that original feeling experience with a wireless controller. So I'm really looking forward to this product. Obviously, they also have like an 8-bit DOE 64 controller. Did you see that too, Steven?
Yeah, I like how that one looks.
It doesn't look too bad. I hate how it doesn't necessarily come with the console. Like the console itself is like $250 and it's just for the console itself. Which I have a couple of controllers that are gonna work with this thing anyway, or a few different ones, so I don't necessarily have to. But I am looking at the 8-bit Doe and I'm like, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. And
Yeah,
I think that one is like about 40-ish bucks if you wanted to buy it. And I think that goes on pre-order at
yeah.
the same time. So I don't
You'll
know.
be able
Maybe
to use that on like anything.
yeah, so I'm like, I'm almost
That'll be
curious to
nice.
pick that one up too. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Depends on how the mood strikes me tomorrow,
They're
though.
tempting you. They're trying to take your money, Zard.
Yeah, they really are. And they we got like a few different looks at like the UI and stuff for the thing. Unfortunately, we didn't get like any comparison screenshots or videos for the games that you're actually going through and playing though. But they did show some of the UI where it's like, oh, you can see like, oh, it's play cartridge, you can see your library or your memories and stuff. It seems like you're actually able to somehow take screenshots of your games at certain points. I was like, oh, okay. And it has some basic stuff up in here though. Obviously, you have to have some kind of menu option for it to sync up your Bluetooth controllers and stuff though. So overall, I really do like what I am currently seeing right here. I'm just scrolling to the website to make sure I'm not missing anything else I kind of wanted to go through here and point out. Oh yeah, and there was like already a 16 gigabyte SD card that's already pre-installed into the system memory. So I guess it's gonna have some information on it already though. But uh yeah, built-in expansion pack, built-in memory pack, 3D OS, dual band Wi-Fi plus OTA, wireless 3D. Obviously, I said the Bluetooth, the couple of USBs. So yeah, a lot of good stuff up in here and some technology. And I like Steven how you said something about the price point, how it's like super expensive. And I started doing my pricing on Nintendo 64 stuff, and to buy a 64 on eBay is about $100, right? And then I
Yeah.
started talking with Hacks, our buddy, and he said basically just to take and buy the parts and do the installation on the all of the stuff that would be required to basically output the video to your modern day
Mhm.
television in like up resolution or whatever you want to do it, it's close to around like an extra 100-ish bucks.
Well, no,
So
it's not terrible. It's not just the price. It's also just the stock. It's usually only in stock for this amount of
yeah,
time.
but for the price that you're paying for this, it's about the same if you were just going into it and trying to buy a 64 that you didn't have already and try to do all the modding yourself. It's like you simplify it all into like this one quick, easy purchase. So when I started looking at this, like here, I was like, okay, it's worth it for me. I don't know it's gonna be worth it for everybody, but I can see the dollar amount, and I feel like that's pretty justified. So I'm gonna try to get this. I'll update y'all on the next podcast episode in a couple of weeks whether or not I snag the pre-order or not. I feel like I should. There at least got to be. This got to be easier to get into versus the 10,000 limited people that got into that NSO online testing, which we'll talk about here in a second, though. But it should be way easier than that at least. Whew, all right.
Yeah, listen, at least for me, I tried getting the analog pocket a while back, and I didn't.
Oh, because you weren't able to, or you pulled out at last
I
second? Because you pick it up
Yeah,
now if you
I
wanted
was
to.
no, I was too late back then. It just no, it was like at least for me, it just kind of turned me off from wanting it.
Oh, I
I was
got you.
like, oh my god, I lost my chance. It's so much money. I'll just emulate the games.
Yeah.
I'll eventually get one of these because I have an actual legit copy of Emerald, and I like playing. I want to play that on like an actual Game Boy esque device.
Mm.
Their products are good and all, but like they're high quality. I don't know. Something about it. I just kind of this one especially. I'm kind of suspicious about
Mm.
because N64. Well, I was gonna say I know it's not emulation, but like N64, like anything that's not official by Nintendo is always a little wonky.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm hoping that they did right with this thing because if they manage to work out the kinks and manage to perfect it, because even when you're emulating some of these N64 games, you still have a few different hiccups and stuff. You even see it a little bit on some things in some of the NSO games that you have on the expansion pack stuff. But if they can manage to work out all those kinks and it's pretty close to perfect, then oh shoot, this thing's really gonna be selling like hotcakes. So I don't know. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I'll keep y'all updated and stuff like that though. But I'm really looking forward to this one product in particular though. And once they release this one, I think I'll be content. I don't think I would really need to get anything else from them. I don't think, at least. But yeah, so that's gonna be it in terms of the analog 3D announcement thing. So now let's go ahead and switch it over to some of these weird announcements that Nintendo managed to bring up last week. And yes, we're gonna first talk about Alarmo. Steven, did you pick up Alarmo?
No, I know you did.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Yes, of course I had to pick this thing up. No, this thing was so weird and out of left field. Everybody and their mama's expecting Nintendo to come out and announce a Nintendo Switch 2. And we're expecting the hardware announcement on that level. But when they come out on a random, what was it, a random Tuesday, random Wednesday, or sometime of
It was a
last week?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I woke up on my day off and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I was like, I looked at this thing. I was like, wait a minute, they're doing a clock. Now remind y'all, also the Pokemon company is doing their own little similar thing with Pokemon Sleep and stuff. So it's like, okay, Nintendo in general has been playing around with this whole entire sleepy kind of vibe
Yeah,
technology.
they want you interacting with them during those other 8 hours of the day.
Yeah,
Basically,
but I mean,
It's stupid, but like, yeah, they're trying to engage you even while you're sleeping because hey. No other company's trying to do it yet.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense because at least with Nintendo, they're obviously they're known for their video games and stuff, but they're pushing the boundary more and more to kind of broaden their brand appeal outside of just video games. We've been seeing it with the theme parks they opened up in Japan, Hollywood Studios. We just talked about how they're about to open one up in Universal. We talked about in previous episodes about the Nintendo museum that they managed to open up over there in Japan. Somehow we're gonna have to get over there and see that museum though, because there's been some cool stuff over there. Especially like some prototypes of some older, systems and stuff when they're going through their beta phases and stuff like that. Cool stuff like that that we didn't even know about when they first showed that off. You have stuff like that. Then you also have the movies as well. Like we had the Mario movie 1. We know a Mario movie 2 is in the works. We know a Legend of Zelda movie is in the works as well though. So, this is just another thing to kind of check mark off their list. And now you have a simple alarm clock and stuff. And yes, I had the clock, so I'll give like my short little thoughts up on this thing right now based upon the what is it? I had it come in the mail on goodness. When did that mess come in the mail? It came in the mail like a few days ago or so. I mean, I only was able to like test out the alarm clock for like 2 or almost 3 days at this point though. But you have different alarm presets up on there or different themes from different games. So you have like Mario Odyssey, Pikmin 4, Ring Fit Adventure, Splatoon 3, Breath of the Wild, think I mentioned all 5 of them. And we know there's gonna be like DLC. It's funny to have DLC for a clock, Steven. Like, can you think of that? And we know we're gonna have Mario Kart coming, and we know we're gonna have Animal Crossing coming some point in the future, though. So obviously they released this thing for $100, which I was like, I wish it was cheaper. But then again, this is Nintendo. They know they can get
I
away with this. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, all right.
it is very interesting technology built into it. And also, yeah, it's interactive. It's got from what I've seen, it's got a lot of sound effects. It's even got like visuals a little bit.
Yeah, and I was messing around mostly with the Splatoon theme. So tonight I'm gonna mess around with the Pikmin theme. So I'll let you know how that one goes. Because what was it? They got a theme for the silly old glow flies. Or what those are called glow flies, right? In Pikmin
Salmon
4?
Run?
No,
Oh no
no.
no.
Oh, I said glow flies. Well, no, the
Hey, you're giving me fucking Vietnam flashbacks over here.
Vietnam, bruh. No, I'm talking
Y-
about the Pikmin
No,
4 glow
no, I
Pikmin, whatever
know.
those things are.
I know. I'm just saying. I heard glowflies and Salmon Run immediately traumatizes me.
Oh dear. No, yeah. No,
Yeah.
but
No.
that
Yeah.
night
Big.
mode. Yeah.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of cool ones, honestly, and especially the fact that was it after 20 minutes it plays boss music, which
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
hadn't
if
been
you've
able to
slept
mess
in.
around with that because, that alarm, at least for me, it's kind of loud once it gets, if you're out of your deep sleep trance and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, you can kind of open the eyes or like you're in that state where it's like, if you
Uh,
need to use the restroom, you can use the restroom. That thing gets loud. And it's like, I was like, at some point, you want to turn that thing off. I was like, there's no way I'm going to let that thing ring for like a constant 20 minutes. That's asking a lot.
no, but yeah, at least for that, like it would. The better questions are with how much you moving around probably causes sound effects. Has it annoyed you at all?
Not
Like,
really.
is it good at waking you up fast? Like once the noises start, or is it like what they wanted, like something that eases you awake? Because that's
Okay,
kind
so
of like
there's a couple of different modes up in here, and I think they already did an update where there's like an in between mode, but there was like a low end, a high end, and then I think there's now a middle end. I hadn't been able to play around with that though, but I leave my stuff on the high end because I'm usually a deep sleeper though. But I don't know. At least the first time I played around with this thing, I was like, okay, let me make sure I set my regular alarm because actually had to get up to go to work one day, and I was like, nah, I can't experiment around with this thing, and if it really don't wake me up, like let that be it. So I was like, no, we ain't doing that mess. So the true first wake up is literally gonna happen from tonight into tomorrow because I don't have to go into work until later on in the day. So by then, I would naturally wake up even if I didn't have an alarm set. So I'm gonna see how that works with the Pikmin theme stuff, though. But I mean, once I kind of was somewhat up, even after like my second or third test on it though, like yes, it kind of does a pretty good job. I mean, especially how I know I'm like, oh, if I just hop out of bed, which it kind of sense most of my motion and stuff pretty well, at least for the most part, when I was rolling around in bed and trying to get out. So it does work. Like I'm not saying it doesn't for sure. Like they managed to work out the technology where it does a good job on it. I would say it's a little bit annoying, but it's not badly annoying though. But I think it's probably because I had like the same theme set. You can have this thing rotate to be any of the musical themes or rotate within like one genre, like just a bunch of different Splatoon 3
Yeah.
music. So
I really want to do Breath of the Wild just because the Guardian music plays after
I'm kinda scared of
20
Breath
minutes.
of the Wild. Not because of the Guardian music though, although that would be cool. You know how that game's just nothing but a bunch of piano music. So I feel like that
Yeah,
mess
but
will put
that's
me back to sleep. I ain't gonna
yeah, but
lie.
that's the
That
point. That's the point. The Guardian fucking wakes you back up. You gotta set it
No,
20
but
minutes
that's no,
ahead.
that's 20. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
stinking 20. No, I wanna get as much
set
sleep as
it.
I possibly can,
Well,
Steven.
no,
I'm
there
not gonna
are.
do that.
From what I remember, there are actual songs from Breath of the Wild in it. Like, there's that one paraglider mini game you do. That song's in. Cat. I think Cass's. I might be wrong. It might not be Cass's theme. I don't
Oh, the
know.
one that like
Yeah. Yes.
but that's oh man, that's the
Yes.
Smash Brothers theme one though. That one hits. Oh
The
shoot.
Smash one. Oh yeah, the Smash one's really good.
Oh shoot.
But
That's what
yeah,
they should put up in their Smash Brother themes.
yeah, well, they'll get to it. If they're doing Mario Kart and Animal Crossing, I think it's only fair to assume Smash is coming.
Man.
Waking up to Life Light would be funny.
Oh good gracious. Oh no, I'm gonna hop out of that bed real fast if that were the case though. But
It's your subconscious just imagines Smash.
oh good gracious.
Imagine like the opening to the trailers where like the Smash symbol cuts open.
No, that wouldn't be enough to wake me up.
Or
No.
what if when you're rolling around in bed, you just hear Banjo and Kazooie, Bowser Jr. Like the announcer just starts listing random characters.
I would be like, man, will you no, I ain't gonna say
I
it.
would just I would just be like, shut up, man.
Oh goodness. But yeah, so that's most of the features on there. And then the only other big feature on there that we hadn't talked about yet was like the sleepy time noises. Which honestly, I think I like this feature the most. Not even the waking up part, like the part that allows you to go to sleep. And it lets you play different music from different things from, whatever game you have selected on there and it plays music for like 10 minutes to allow you to fall asleep. I heard from a
Yeah.
lot of people online they really love this feature a lot, but they hate how it's only 10 minutes. Like for some people, they can't fall asleep within the span of 10 minutes, which
For me,
perfectly
it's
understand
useless.
that.
For me, I just put on like a YouTube video and I fall asleep. Like just somebody like it's like a video essay or this and
Yeah.
that.
But I don't know. Like there's something calm and peaceful about it though. So I did it with Splatoon 3 music. So I was like, okay, that one's nice. Because I think they pulled it from somewhere from the story mode. But I'm gonna try it with the Pikmin music because the Pikmin, like in the day music, just in general in that game, that always sounds pretty nice, pretty soothing. So I imagine that will go over pretty well. So I'm gonna try that one tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. So I really do love that. I just wish they would, which they can do an update. I'm pretty sure where they can maybe give you an option to set it for different periods of time. And if they do, I would love to set that for like 20 to almost 30 minutes at max. At that point, I know I for sure. It doesn't take me too long to fall asleep though. But if I set it at 20 minutes, I'll probably be covered every time. Ooh. All right, but outside of that, a really shocking announcement, but I don't put it past Nintendo for this one right here. So good stuff right here. Good stuff. You got to keep us on our toes at least for the Switch 2 stuff. So then that way, when they really do announce it, it's like, oh, dang, I really wasn't expecting it then. All right. Anything else on Alarmo, Steven?
On Alarmo, good question. Um, I was gonna say, from what I remember, Does this thing have like settings? Can you make it louder? Would you say it was significantly loud when like actual stuff started happening?
I mean, somewhat, yeah. Like you can control the brightness on the thing
Okay.
and the volume,
Yeah. And
so
also,
that
does
was good.
from what I remember, this thing it has like a feature to just make it like an actual alarm, right?
Oh, I don't know. I
Like
hadn't
where
dug that deep.
it goes off and then you press a button to turn it off.
Oh, I don't know about goes off and it just turns a button, but there is a way where even with the motion control stuff, like if you were to reach your hand over and just slap the thing, it will say, "Hey, do you want to turn it off?" You twist the knob and you slap it again, or something like that, and so
Yeah, so
you can
that kind of has
manually
to wake
turn it
you up.
off. Yeah. So you either do it like that or you get out of bed. But if you get out of bed and you hop back in it within the span of an hour when your alarm goes off, it will play again. It caught me doing that. Sometimes I like to get up, use the restroom, lay in bed, and then just scroll on my phone. And it caught me and it played the music again. I was like, gosh dang it. I was like, turn that mess off again. But oh goodness though. But yeah, because I
Yeah,
caught myself sometimes falling back to sleep in times
yeah,
past when I did that mess.
that's fair. At least for me, when they add Mario Kart, oh, that's gonna be some sexy ass music to wake up to, especially
Uh,
the especially
Moonview Highway.
Moonview Highway would like make me fucking shaking when I wake up. I would
Oh
just think
shoot,
I'm
that'd be
like,
like we're like, oh shoot,
yeah,
I'm gonna be late. I need to hop in the car.
like literally, like I would be scared if that played. I just think it's funny. I do really think it's funny that it plays boss music after a while. I don't know if it plays the sound effects of the King Salmonids, but if you do the Salmon Run theme and then you let it play for 20 minutes, up the boss wave starts. The
Okay.
music for the music for the King Salmonid fights start, and
Yeah.
that's really funny to me because I don't know if you remember, one of those things has a really scary sounding scream.
Oh yeah, the Kohozuna or whatever though. Yeah.
No,
Or basically all
the
three of them,
snake
or even
one.
the Ouroboros one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's got the really scary one. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff they could do with Alarmo, and I think it's a charming idea. This is a very Nintendo thing to do. Nintendo, everyone thinks they're announcing the Switch 2 soon. Send out the alarm clock, they go.
It's like, yeah, we gotta keep them on their toes. Hey, at least they can
Basically,
set
yeah.
the alarm whenever we do finally get ready to announce this thing
Yeah.
though.
Literally, whatever you think Nintendo is gonna do, they're not doing.
Yeah.
That's the golden rule with them. It's just stop trying. Predicting Nintendo only goes so far. Besides that, Alarmo's cool. I don't. Well, actually, I'm gonna. This is the only time I'm gonna mention the damn system here, or at least I'll try to mention. Because every time I'm on this podcast, I always go on some kind of thing about Switch 2 every time. I'm just kind of excited. But the fact of the matter is that Nintendo is gonna have a product featuring exclusively Switch games, even though the Switch is about to end its life cycle. If that doesn't confirm that you'll be able to play these games in the new system, I don't know what does.
You and
Like
your
why?
roundabout thinking in
It's
terms of these
true.
games
Am
being
am
featured
am
off of the
I
stupid
fucking
alarm
wrong?
clock and
Am
thinking
I
that
wrong? Why would Nintendo have a bunch of games that you can't even buy on store shelves now being advertised on this product? It just
well,
yeah,
I think Ring
if
Fit
you're
is the only one I
yeah.
feel like you can't go out and buy. I think all the
Yes,
other four you
you
can.
can. Ring Fit Adventure sold a lot and they made a lot. I could buy it right now at my local store. I see
I
it
mean,
all the
I feel
time
like
there.
I can't remember the last time I went into my Best Buy or whatever though, but I don't think I remember seeing that anywhere. But I mean, if you buy it online, yes, they'll ship it to you or whatever. But
Amazon still has it for base price. It's not out of print.
hmm.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
back to the point. I think the fact of the matter is that at at least I think the next system will definitely have backwards compatibility if they are willing to just do this for Switch games. And let's just say it doesn't, at that point, they should just start adding classic games to Alarmo too. Imagine waking up to like Majora's Mask music. That'd be
Mm,
nice.
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see what things they add on there. Hopefully, it's more than just Mario Kart and Animal Crossing, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, yeah.
Originally, when I had this alarm clock, I thought I was just going to test it for a few times and then just move it to where I have most of my gaming stuff at and just let the hourly chime thing play and not just have it sit by my bed. But I don't know. I'm really liking this
Yeah.
thing quite a bit, so I might keep it where it's at by my on my nightstand. We'll see.
Yeah. I seen a funny post saying about about how this thing is getting updates. Somebody was like, "Oh wow, they're even doing the drip free DLC approach to the alarm clock, like how
Yeah.
they did for all the Mario sports games, just slowly giving slow free updates." But at least they're free. If they made me pay to get more themes for the goddamn clock, that'd be annoying.
No, not for $100. No. Oh, but I probably
No.
should say this before concluding this up and moving to the next
What?
topic, though. If you want to get one of these, if we manage to sell you on this silly old alarm clock, they were only selling these at least for the rest of the year, only available on Nintendo's website. You had to be a Nintendo Switch online member in order to buy this thing. Now, it doesn't take an online account once you actually have the clock. It just takes an online membership to actually buy it. It was weird seeing some people on Twitter be confused about that stuff. Just
Yeah,
have the
some
online
people.
service just to buy the clock. It's just a nice little perk to get it
Yeah,
early.
some people thought it was like an online only clock, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And
Oh
that
no.
you needed an active subscription to use it. How would they even enforce that?
No, they wouldn't be able to enforce it though. But if you also wanted to get it and you don't have the online service, then you'll be able to buy it I think at the first of the year, roughly, like January onward, then they'll start rolling it out to retailers, and then you can buy it like that. But then you also had another way how you could buy it be a retailer now, and that's if you lived up in the NYC area where you're at, Steven. You actually could have bought this on day one when they originally
Yeah.
announced it, and that's how
Well,
you could have
yeah,
been like one of the
no.
first people to get it.
I woke up, I seen that, and I seen that they specifically mentioned that it was available now in Nintendo New York. Which, by the way, I do think that's kind of crazy that Nintendo was just able to immediately shadow drop this. Like, you can go, we announced it this morning. You can buy it now.
I mean, yeah, as
That's
long as no
crazy.
one
I've just,
sees,
no,
yeah.
as long, yeah, it didn't leak or anything. It's not like anyone from Nintendo New York leaked that shipments of Alarmo went out. It's just kind of crazy. And obviously, I woke up because it was my day off. I woke up, looked at my phone, it was really blurry, and I was half asleep. And I just thought, wow, I guess I'm going to New York City today. I didn't. Thank God I didn't end up going because I don't know. I've already spent a lot of money on games this month. I don't need to buy a stupid ass alarm clock.
So next month you're gonna buy it.
I don't know.
All right. All right. Well, anyway, I didn't think we are gonna be talking about the clock so long though, but
Well, yeah,
it's just a nice, interesting thing that they dropped.
it's a weird thing that happened.
Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna roll it on over to one of the biggest, and I think the most shocking things out of everything that was announced last week is this Nintendo Switch Online Playtest program. Oh shoot. We had everybody and their mama thinking about what on earth could Nintendo be going out there and testing. And remind y'all, literally tonight is when if you are one of the lucky people to get accepted into that online playtest program, they're actually releasing some kind of application where you're actually able to download it on your Switch now. Now, I'm pretty sure at some point someone's going to go through and start data mining that stuff. And we're going to see some information pop up within the next few days, though. But regardless of whatever transpires, we're going to figure out exactly what is behind this playtest this week. Because in case you hadn't heard it, they're going through and testing out some kind of feature. They're still a little vague up on it though, and whenever they first originally announced this sucker, they said only 10,000 people are going to get up in it. And they were going to release this playtest sign up application thing. It was like roughly around 10 o'clock my time on a certain given day. And I was there on second one and it sold out, or say sold out, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
application process ended within the span of 10 seconds and I did not get in. I was like, what on earth is this? Now, granted, if you do the percentages, 10,000 out of like what 140 plus million is like 0.000, and then I think you get a digit to pop up. So yeah, your odds were pretty slim at best. But if you're one of the people that got accepted, congrats. And Nintendo put out a statement. It's not an NDA, is what some people thought, but they put out a statement saying, "Hey, please don't talk about this." But there's no way that anybody out of that 10,000 are all going to uphold to that. Somebody's going to say something online, and then that thing's going to spread like wildfire, though. So it kind of makes me think, no matter what this announcement is, Steven, they're probably going to say something about it in the first couple of days before the Wednesday playtest thing
You know,
even goes live. I feel like they're
here's
gonna announce and
here's what
say
I'm gonna
something.
say. Out of curiosity, was this exclusively expansion pack or just NSO?
No, expansion pack. Yeah, so you had to
That's
have expansion pack as well,
yeah,
not just
that's kind
NSO.
of well, that's the interesting part to me. You need to have expansion pack, meaning that this is either a new feature for N64/GBA or it's some new application. Well, no, we already know it's a new application. I don't know. There weren't any Game Boy Advance games that were 18 plus, right? There's no way this could be an 18 plus Game Boy Advance app or something stupid.
Oh no, I don't think. Oh wait, Steven, I just had another idea hit me at the ninth hour.
Yeah.
A lot of people are thinking about this going to be like a streaming test thing, and people were thinking, well, possibly it could be GameCube. We know the file size on this thing is like 2.2 gigabytes and stuff. And for most streaming related things, it has to be usually smaller than that. So then they were thinking like, what if this is like a boot up launcher for a GameCube? But then I started sitting down and think about it and hearing from other people's conversations. That's too big of something to have leak out like that from some random one out of 10,000 people that you're gonna allow
Yeah, like
to beta test
why
without announcing it early. And
why
that
even
seemed like
hide
something,
that?
yeah.
That would make people really excited if you just said it instead of it leaking it out. People would sit in Nintendo's waiting room chat for hours for that. They could drum up hype for that. No problem. But they're
Yeah,
choosing to kind of do it on the down low. And I do actually have a kind of a guess. I have a guess for this that I really do believe, but I'll wait to see what you think it is.
yeah, so whenever I was thinking about all of that, it made sense for it's like, well, that would have been big enough for a Nintendo Direct, like a general Nintendo Direct announcement. So then I was like, no, maybe it's not GameCube. But then again, it almost seemed like GameCube because now we heard about some GameCube parts are being manufactured and stuff. But what if it wasn't GameCube, Steven? And with expansion pack, notice how you said stuff for 64 and GBA. And then I was like, well, this must be something that needed to be tested, but it wasn't anything that needed to be super important. And then I'm starting to think 64
Oh,
Game Boy
god damn
Advance,
it. You're
64
gonna
Game Boy Advance. I was like, what the heck can you do between both of those? And then it just hit me just now. Remember with certain games like Mario Tennis 64 and Mario Tennis on the Game Boy, like there's
yeah.
compatibility between both of those two games. And I'm wondering, could it be a minor feature where you can get some crossover between certain applications in the NSO service? So
Yeah,
that way you
that
can have like certain characters unlockable from the Game Boy stuff that unlocks in the 64, or potential stuff in the future where it's like, remember what Pokemon Stadium, like Stadium 1, Stadium 2, imagine if they finally drop out Pokemon games on the Game Boy side of things, and you can carry over that data progression over into the other ones. I would not put it past Nintendo to do something like that.
yeah. So, you want to hear what my guess is, Zard?
What?
So, I have my thought process is it can be one of three things, okay? First thing, it could be a hub where you download GameCube games from this application, and it might come with one already installed, which might be like the main one, but then you could download maybe two other ones just to test out. Which I don't think they do that because I'm pretty sure they would say in the post, like, oh, make sure you have this amount of available space, this and that. All we know is that the actual program is 2.2 gigabytes. Another one that it could be just due to the size and, all of that, and it could be DS is the next thing I could think of, but probably not. So the one that I actually think it is, which hear me out on this one. I think it is a GameCube game. I think it's a single GameCube game, and I think the reason why they're not announcing it is because it's something that people are not gonna care about, really. Because because there's something else very similar to it that just came out.
Hmm.
Now, hear me out, Zard. I think it is a single GameCube game. I think it's Four Swords Adventures. And I think the reason why they want you to have good
Oh.
on and I think the reason why they want you to have good online is because it's going to connect to the Game Boy Advance app to kind of load this up or something. I think it's going to be some kind of test where, for those Game Boy Advance games that supported the link cable, it's going to load. Like imagine you're in the GBA app and then you load up a GameCube emulator inside of that.
Hmm. Or
It's specifically for these
You
games,
know
because
what?
that's what WarioWare also did that.
You know what? I
WarioWare
would
on
not put it
GameCube.
past you for them to come up with something clever like that. And you know what? I'll do you one even better. I'll evolve that little idea that you have. Let's say if they brought Four Swords Adventure over as like a exclusive NSO thing, kind of like F-Zero 99 to a degree.
Yeah,
But it
like it's
tests out that technology that you mentioned about the GBA GameCube stuff, which they'll go back and reference when we had the Switch 2 on the market with future GameCube games because it's doing it within this exclusive thing that's only available for expansion pack owners. Like this won't be
and
available for all NSO. They're just gonna make it for expansion pack. I
and
can
to
see
be
that too.
fair, there's a lot of the GBA did connect with the GameCube for a decent amount of things. Metroid Fusion would let you unlock the Fusion suit in Prime, for example.
Hmm. I like how both
They
of our
were
ideas came down to something where it's like it's a fusion of a couple of different apps. I said 64 and Game Boy, and you're over here
no,
saying
I think
GameCube and Game Boy Advance.
I'm
I think we
I'm
might be on the
locking.
no. I think we might be on the nose with that concept in general. It might be
I
one way or the other.
I'm locking in my answer. I think it is a single GameCube game that they just want to test out. And it would make sense if it's Four Swords Adventures, because that's four different people all going four different ways and doing separate things. And, they did just do Four Swords. Like they
Yeah.
gave us original Four Swords. So I know this is partially me just wanting it. I really would like to have an easy way to play Four Swords Adventures. Because right now you have to spend upwards of $600 to play it normally.
Well, hold on. It wouldn't be upward of six
Yes,
hundred dollars. I'm thinking back.
four,
No, no, because I
four.
have. Well, hold on here. I bought all this stuff
Okay,
on eBay. I can give you the exact numbers. The GameCube
okay.
itself, when I bought that, was a little. We'll just round it up to $100. When I bought Four Swords Adventure, that was about 60. So no, $50. I think it's between 50 and 60, but I'll say 50. That's $150. The game cable itself, I bought two of those. That was about $10 a pop. So now we're looking at about 170. And then if you're trying to get one of those GBAs, let's just say a GBA SP, you can get one of those for about 50-ish dollars. So you're almost looking at a little more than $210. And that's just for one. And then obviously for how many other GBAs you slap an extra $50 per thing though. But it takes about $200 to get this thing on and going if you don't have any of the hardware whatsoever.
Yeah, that's a low estimate, but okay.
I mean, it's the estimate that I did,
How much was each Game Boy Advance in this hypothetical?
$50.
I'm gonna
And those
quickly
were the
just look that
GBA
up on.
SPs. Not like anything that was like a modified, like original Game Boy Advance with a backlit screen. We're not talking
Zard,
about nothing like that.
I don't know when you looked at this, but a GBA SP on eBay, for example, for refurbished is $165.
No.
They
Well, that's
Yes,
refurbished. That's refurbished.
I found one 74.99
There's no way
for.
GBA SP. I'm gonna pull up my receipts right now. There's no
You
way
know
a
what? Fine.
GBA
Yeah.
SP
Let's
went up
pause,
that
pause
much
the
in value.
let's pause the goddamn podcast. I'm fine with this. Like you're gonna see it right now. The GBASP went up pretty fucking high in
Pull up price
value.
charting over here, and I'm gonna pull up my receipts on this other one over here. There's no way that GBASP went up that much. Hold on here. Let me log up into my little account over here because that's no wait. I can do this. Wait, hold on. There we go. I think I got my account up in here. There's absolutely no way that that
You'll
miss pulled up.
see.
Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna go over here to my purchases. I'm gonna keep on scrolling until I had to literally scroll all the way down to the very bottom because I think I talked about this on the pod before.
Hey, you're fine. You're fine.
No, I talked about this on the pod before when I was starting to do like my original GameCube collecting and stuff. I went out and got like a whole bunch of stuff because I was trying to make up for lost time on the
All right.
GameCube and
All
stuff.
right. Well, while
Okay,
you're
yeah.
looking
So
that up, oh, you
yeah, no,
got
I
it.
bought that GameCube for like $104.21 when it was all said and done. So I did find the price
Okay.
on that. Now let me find this Game Boy Advance SP because when I bought that, I bought the Cobalt Blue one.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Okay,
when
it
you
was a little
bought it.
more.
I'm talking about
It was a little more than what I thought. It was more than 50. It was actually 75 when I got that
all
thing,
right.
but I knew it
And
wasn't
then
100.
the game itself is also a factor. Around 400 and 400 plus you're spending because Four Swords Adventures is like $70 for a pre-owned copy.
Okay, yeah, because like I know I got mine for like
That's
50. Wait, hold on.
still.
Here it is. Oh no, never mind. Shoot, take that back. I got it for 82. 82 bucks.
You also needed four link cables.
Now those you can get off of the secondhand market. Like you can get those for like $10 a pop or so. Like I bought
Yeah,
mine
but
off of
it's
Amazon. That's the
still.
cheapest thing that you're gonna be able to get though. But
I
no, wait.
just
So
don't
what was the
understand.
price charting on the Game Boy Advance SP? It couldn't be that much. That's
Like
ridiculous.
the lowest I seen was 75 per.
Okay, see that you're blowing that out of the water. You had me
Sev-
thinking.
75 three times is 300. Four times is 300, Zard. three
Yes, I
hundred
know,
dollars
but
plus
but
about 150 for the GameCube nowadays is around
if you're bringing over the crew and you mean to telling me that you're trying to set this whole thing up and that'd be like me, you, Sonic Q, and Alexis. Let's just say it was us four, and you mean to say between all four of us, if we weren't able to pitch in and bring our own GBASP, and you have to rely on the owner, that being me, that had all the stuff, the GameCube with the games and stuff like that, and you weren't able to come the extra mile and bring your own GBASP, you're gonna have some issues right there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is it still costs that much to set it up. And that's kind of ridiculous. And Nintendo needs to make that game more accessible because it's good.
Yeah, like Four
Or
Swords, the GBA one is cool and all though, but like Adventure is where it's at, and I love the heck out of it. Even when I was going through and playing it with my brother, because I have two GBASPs, and I was able to go through and do that. So yeah, no, it's a really good experience if you can get it ideal with up to four people.
yeah, so that's my guess. I'm probably we'll find out if I'm wrong tomorrow, but I think there's a possibility it could just be Four Swords Adventures,
Hmm.
and
But what
that's it.
But whatever that announcement is, I imagine we're going to hear something about it either from Nintendo or somebody that has data mined it. Probably first thing in the morning tomorrow. I'm just fully expecting it
It was
because
supposed to be
there's
out
no
already.
yeah, like there's no way I think that Nintendo puts out this playtest without them knowing it's going to leak. Because the only other time I could think back to a scenario that was kind of similar to this is back with Nintendo Switch Sports. Whenever we were playing that, but people were already just posting, like that feature where you were able to back then save the video, you can still do that now. But upload it
Yeah,
straight to Twitter, we can't do that anymore. But people were doing that when Nintendo advised back at that time, please don't share anything because it's not indicative of the finalized version of the online experience for Nintendo Switch Sports. Ooh, but yeah, that was the only other scenario I could almost think of in the past where Nintendo did something similar to this, though. But regardless, whatever happens and whatever transpires, it's going to be interesting. I just don't think it's going to be nearly crazy as what everybody would think and would hope. But fingers crossed, it's something cool regardless. All right. Any other last thoughts, Steven?
yeah, whatever it is, I hope the playtest runs well and doesn't go horribly wrong. because Nintendo Switch Online is very inconsistent, especially that stupid ass N64 one.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know. There's the
yeah,
possibility we're wrong, and it's something new. This might not even be an old game. You know what I mean? They
yeah.
said that this was for owners of expansion pass. That doesn't mean that this is related to it. They said it's a new feature, but it could be a new game, and they're just saying feature. I
It
don't
could be
fucking know.
anything. For all we know, Nintendo got with Sega and said we're skipping the Saturn. We're putting the Dreamcast stuff in the thing and for the expansion pack. I
No,
wouldn't know.
you're right. You're
And that's
right. It could
technically
be.
GameCube level, and
I don't
that
know.
would be pre-early. It'd be like, oh dang, but I don't know.
Saturn's not GameCube. Did you just say Saturn's GameCube level?
No, 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 no. I say Dreamcast is GameCube level.
Yes. Okay. I was gonna say. Um. Yeah, them skipping the Saturn would make sense. I don't know how many games that had. That had Knights. It had Sonic R.
Mm.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, but besides that, like it could be something like that, maybe. But yeah, I feel like once again, if it was Sega, I feel like they'd announce that in a direct of some sorts, or even just on Twitter. Especially when it's one of their partners, you probably would want as many eyes on that as possible if I were Sega, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. We're just spitballing at this
Yeah. No,
point,
no,
though.
I like no, I like the speculation as much as I'm saying, yeah, as even if it is something disappointing, I like the way that Nintendo has been doing these mysteries recently. Remember with Emio, we were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, they got us guessing. No, they got no, they
And
got us exactly where we wanted. We didn't know where the Switch 2 was at. They gave us Alarmo. We didn't know what Emio was. It was and then obviously it turned out to be a
Famicom game.
visual novel game, and we don't know what this playtest is, but it can't be no trophy system. So who knows what it is though? But yeah, this guessing game in 2024 is a little odd, but I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it. All right, Stephen. Well, that's going to do it in terms of that topic. And now we're going to roll over to the biggest thing that has transpired within the past couple of weeks. Yes, we're talking about the stinking Pokemon Tera leak. Oh,
Yeah, this
shoot, Stephen. Because, like, I remember this. This was about a little more than a week ago. It wasn't this Saturday. I think it was last Saturday when all of this stuff was starting to break at the scene. And I was just looking at this and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what leak? And then I was like, wait, Game Freak leaked some stuff? I was like, oh, okay, this is just about one game, right? And then I just started seeing
no.
more and more and more and more and more things coming out. I was like, wait, what the heck is going on over here? And I was like, oh no, they having a leak similar to the Capcom Giga leak, similar to the original Nintendo leak, as well as the I said Capcom, the original one. Oh gosh, what's the other one? Another one was slipping my mind. Oh, the Insomniac leak. I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, we're having a leak on those
There's
kind of
also
scales. I was like, gosh, dang.
there's also a big Capcom leak.
No, I said the Capcom Giga leak.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I said Capcom,
Okay. Sorry,
Insomniac,
I
and then
might have misheard you.
The original Nintendo one. Yeah. So we're talking about big in scale on terms of those, and we're talking about everything in terms of source codes for certain games dropping out, beta sprites and stuff from literally everything from like Gen 3 all the way up to I believe it was Gen 7 as of the moment where we're at right now, and everything else in between, the lore and stuff in terms of like the origin of like how the Pokemon universe even became to
Yeah.
be,
That's
and then obviously the sketchy writing and stuff with stupid Typhlosion. I'm like, gosh dang, rest in
yeah,
peace, my
so at
boy. I'm
least
like, oh
so so by the way, we didn't get anything for Gen 7. We got Gen 3, 4, 5, and 6. We got a, we basically got nothing yet for Gen 8, but I think that's coming. Gen 8 and Gen 9 we don't have yet. Legends Arceus, we have a couple things. I don't know if you've seen this because this is kind of new. We got a whole ass prototype of Legends Arceus leaked that you can play right now
yeah, no, I
online.
did see that one for what was it, a
And
PC build
tons
of it or
and
something like that.
tons of concept art. BDSP, yeah, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl PC release of that got leaked. Modding is gonna be crazy for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the most interesting stuff to me is all the stuff we've seen with X and Y, and also the creation stuff. Which in the Arceus event, and I forget which game, the Arceus event
The
where there
heart
was that
gold,
big
soul
symbol on
silver.
yeah, there was the
Yeah.
big symbol on the ground. And also I think when you fight him in Legends Arceus, that symbol's the arena.
Hmm. So
Now
yeah,
we
so
know what that symbol means. Like you could have just guessed earlier, but like now we just actually know, and we know like how Arceus formed, how the Pokemon world itself formed, like what is the purpose of like Dialga and Palkia and this and that. I think it's a lot of interesting stuff we see in that. This is stuff they thought of back in the day. Like
yeah.
In Gen 4 they were planning all of this stuff.
Yeah, so that's just literally a tip of the iceberg, though. And for the diehard Pokemon fans, yes, they're gonna really love the heck out of that mess, though. I didn't even talk about the side of we had some future projects leak out as well, which for
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of
that's
people out there, that's what a lot of eyes were pointing towards. And we're talking about Pokemon Legends ZA information, what would be the Pokemon Generation 10 game, and then the third game is like some kind of big online game that's similar to a Splatoon. People were thinking it was mass multiplayer
that
online, but it's not necessarily an
no.
MMO, but it's something multiplayer driven, and
If I
those were
had
like
to
the
make
big three things.
if I had to make a guess, Zard, it's gonna be a 3D game where you move around this Pokemon and you actually like battle.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be something kind of similar to like Legends Arceus if it was exclusively like an online
Like,
mode or something
well,
like.
I mean,
Well,
like
that well, hold on.
playing as
That's
the
if we're assuming
Pokemon.
if it's a
I'm
Pokemon
no.
game.
When
It
I
could be a
say this,
general Game Freak game. We don't know about that yet.
no, 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 no. They said that this was in partnership with Ilka and Pokemon Company. I think.
Okay, well then never mind. So yeah, I would say Legends Arceus, but it's focused on online versus single players. What I'm kind of
Well,
thinking and
I don't know.
experiencing
Since
with some
since they
few
compare
twists.
since they compared it to like a Splatoon-esque game, if you want to know my guess, Zard, my guess is that this is like some sort of like my guess is that it's some sort of like actual like move around this Pokemon and battle type of thing. Whether it's an arena fighter or this and that, or tag team. I think it's gonna be something where you have your Pokemon team, and you play in third person and you actually use moves as the Pokemon and dodge and shit. Something that would actually kind of recreate the battles from the anime is what I would love to see for like an online multiplayer game.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold
Like
up
that type of
here.
action where you're
Hmm.
moving around, you can trick opponents, hide behind cover, this and that, like an
Oh, so
actual
kind of like a
Pokemon battle.
Pokemon action RPG-ish kind of thing, but it's not necessarily a fighting game like a Pokken tournament.
You know what?
Hmm.
Make it like Sparking Zero, where you move around in this 3D environment, like a 3D fighting game, kind of.
So not
Pokken
quite
Tournament
Pokken
kind of
though.
did that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just thinking something like that. It'd be cool. Whatever I think it's codenamed Synapse. Whatever Synapse is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
And
So
then we got the code name for Gen 10 as well, which is Gaia.
now, when I was looking at the Gaia thing, first thing that came to mind was, funnily enough, I was thinking of Sonic Unleashed with Gaia, like the final boss in that game, though. But once you start thinking about Gaia, and then you start thinking, well, what is that name associated with? You get around the Greek mythology and stuff. That's like the Titan's mother and stuff. So then people were thinking, well, could this next new region for Gen 10 be based upon Greece? That's the running theory as of now with this
Yeah,
information, which kind of makes sense. And
yeah, and
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say where Pokemon there was like some kind of internal conversation between Pokemon Horizons, like the anime team and the game team, and like Game Freak was saying that Pokemon Horizons was a little too similar to Gen 10, which means like multiple islands, like them going on multiple islands.
You know what? And that gets into like yeah, that was like one of the things in there when they digged up was like could be based around an archipelago, which then kind of has me thinking back to Sun and Moon
Greece.
kind of premise. And I was like, mm, I mean, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan. Like, there's some good elements in those games. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't like the biggest fan in terms of like the mindset of like how you go through and explore these things. It's like you were just doing a bunch of island hopping and stuff like that. Like I still kind of prefer like what we had with like the Paldea region with Scarlet and Violet, where it's like it's just a big, massive area. Unless they're gonna give you like some grandiose ideas in terms of like a Wind Waker style game, but I know it's not going to be nothing super ambitious like that because this is Game Freak at the end of the day. They ain't got that
Yeah,
kind of time. I don't know.
yeah. I don't think they're good enough for that. They won't. They probably won't even let us swim across the islands unless it is another open world game. But we don't know.
Yet they let you fly around with Charizard over the whole entire Hoenn region on Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I know it wasn't super demanding though, but
That's
um
still really cool.
but yeah, so I was looking at all of that and I was like, okay, whatever concept they're coming up with Gen 10, I think is going to be pretty interesting. But I feel like the timing of it, it's not going to be, ideally, it would have been coming out next year. But since we still have Legends EA yet to be announced for whenever it's going to drop out next year, and I don't think we're going to see any information on it until the February Pokemon Presents. And then they're going to date it. Makes me think this is going to be one of those odd years where the Gen 10 isn't going to be a 3 year turnaround. It's going to be a 4 year. So that wouldn't put it in 2025. I think that will put it in 2026. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and there's so much stuff. I'm just looking back at it. We got literally multiple gigabytes of concept art, Zard, meaning
yeah,
like a metric fuck ton of concept art for like everything.
yeah.
Walk cycles, this and that. Um, we also got what was it? We also got like well, I was gonna say tons of beta Pokemon. Like,
Hmm.
uh, like we've me and you and Sonic and we were like posting them and like talking about the beta designs. There's a lot of really cool beta designs mixed in actually.
Yeah. Oh, and then there was also one more thing. Since we already talked about the two games, we got to finish the other one.
Yeah,
The Legends ZA stuff. Like
yeah.
we got some little bit of information on that. Now, Steven, don't say too much because I know that's the nearest game that's coming out, and I avoided some of the leaks up on there though. In terms of like certain Pokemon we can expect to have mega evolutions. I'll go ahead and put out the obvious one. Anything related with Zygarde, I think that's a pretty given. It
Oh
makes sense
yeah.
for that one to have a mega evolution. That would make perfect sense. I don't think that's really spoiler territory. But anything else, I saw the one whenever it originally broke, and I avoided anything else past it though. But outside of that, it does seem like this game is going to be pretty promising for the most part though. What was the other common stuff? I'm trying to remember back now because there's been so much stuff
With
leaking out of
Legends
this game.
EA,
Yeah, the common stuff, the stuff that ain't super
nothing.
swirly.
We don't know anything. Apparently, it's gonna art style wise, it's gonna look similar to Scarlet and Violet, is what another leaker says.
Hmm.
And also, yeah, Legends EA. Apparently, the leaker says that he has. Yeah, the leaker apparently has the data or the source code for Legends EA, but they're not gonna release it because that's gonna get them in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, no, no. They of course they want to do that though. Because think about it. Um, shoot. Well, no, that was the only one that they said they had source code for was ZA. They didn't have source code or anything for like the
No,
Gaia
they
game.
had, yeah, they have nothing for Gen 10.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well,
Because that would have been
well,
crazy if they could have
they might have
leaked.
assets for it. They might have concept art for Gen 10. We
Mhm.
don't
That
know
would have been
what they're.
crazy if they leaked out some kind of code for a potential Switch 2 game before the Switch 2 drop.
Yeah,
That would have been
we
wild.
yeah we did get the Switch 2 code name actually officially confirmed out of this
Oh
ounces.
yeah, yeah, and that was in which it was in the rumor mill for a hot minute as well. When I heard the term ounce, I was like, wait, I know I heard that before. So now we're starting to build up this little spider web a little bit more when you start looking at stuff in the past and where we at right now. So certain rumors starting to get some credibility, at least a little bit though. But yeah, so it was
Yeah,
and also with this game, it's only been in development for the current Switch, so it doesn't look like it was also for a Switch 2 thing, or at least what they pulled out of this terabytes worth of information. All right, and I think that was about it for everything. Oh, well, we missed the
there's
fact that
so much.
from the Gaia, the Pokemon Gaia Gen 10 thing, like two versions, K and N Japanese names, but
Yeah,
obviously
but that means nothing.
it's localized. It'll be something completely different, and it was in development for Switch 2, but there was a version for Switch 1 also being tested.
Yeah. I just can't believe, this whole leak, it started with something pretty similar. It started, well, it was simple, I mean, something pretty simple. It started with Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Black 2 and White 2 getting, like, prototypes leaked. and source code. And now we have a huge, we got a ton of stuff on X and Y. I don't know if you've seen any of it. There was a lot from X and Y, including the
Mhm.
original battle, the original camera being very dynamic during battles. Um, Tons of beta cutscenes, just placeholder stuff. Tons of we got music as well. I don't. Did you see it? Where the low health music from Black and White was supposed to be in X and Y?
We got robbed, man. We got
I
stinking robbed.
know, I know.
Run that mess back, Game Freak. I'm telling you, man. I can't tell you how many times I was playing through Gen 5. And I hit the red section, especially when I was battling at the Elite Four and stuff. And I'll just pause. I'll just put the DS down. I was like, oh man, it's getting
Yeah.
intense.
You want to know something else we got robbed about?
What?
How Kalos? We were supposed to have the
Oh,
southern
the
region of
southern
Kalos,
region. Yeah. I saw
which
that and I,
yeah.
I was pretty bummed about that. I
Um.
was like, man,
See,
they
Kalos,
have
it
a lot
always
of
felt
things to
like it was
redeem
missing
for
something.
yeah, they have a lot of stuff to redeem in Legends ZA because there's so much potential with that region. I was like, I love
Like,
Gen 6,
imagine.
but I was like, man, there's so much more they could have done with it.
Think about it like this. Imagine if Gen 7, if you never did any, if the Ultra Beasts were just not in the game. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You get what I'm saying, right? Imagine if you played Gen 7 and there was just nothing involving Ultra Beasts. Just go to the 4 islands and then beat the champion.
Yeah, yeah, that would be
That's how
something.
X and that's how X and Y feels. It has no sauce. It has nothing interesting going on.
Yeah, so I think outside of that, that's mostly it for most of the game stuff. And obviously, we didn't get too heavy into like the origins of the Pokemon story. Some of them weird old scenarios, stories like with Typhlosion and stuff, though. But I figured I'll mention these last few things before we talk about some of the games we've been going through and playing because we hadn't even hit that segment yet. We're almost to the top of the hour now. But there was some stuff outside of just pure gaming, like we had movie leaks and stuff, and certain anime project stuff, and obviously there's like a little bit of spoilers up in there, so we won't talk about that though. But they
Yeah,
talked about like a new movie poster. All I will say about the movie poster is they got a brand new Pokemon that's up in that poster that I hadn't seen before though. And you know, like certain movies like
yeah,
with Lucario, Mystery of Mew, like Lucario was showed off in Generation 3, but he was a Generation 4 Pokemon. So I think the same things like that. So there is, new Pokemon, official Pokemon out there that if you've seen some of these images, you will know them. So stuff like that. They obviously have like I think another series like a Pokemon Generation, but it's going by a Project Reload name or whatever though. So it's like 12 episodes right there. So they got something like that. The most interesting thing that I found was the Great Detective Pikachu movie. Like there is a sequel that was at least planned to be in the works, or it might
it's
be
canceled.
canceled, or oh,
It's
was it
canceled.
canceled?
Yeah.
Dang it! So
Oh,
I was
and
looking at that because I saw it was in development since 2021, and the status of it, at least at the time, whenever I pulled up some of my notes, it was unclear at the time of whenever this news broke. But was there another thing that confirmed that it was canceled?
no, but like, come on. It's been what, 5 years since
Oh,
the
you think?
movie?
Oh, okay. I thought officially in the leaks it said it canceled or they
No.
got some. Okay, okay. So that's not 100% confirmed. It's been canceled, but there could be a good shot it has been. But it's been in development since 2021. And remind y'all that was COVID. So who
Mhm.
knows how much that really affected that movie? And it could have been offsetted by quite a bit. So I wouldn't put it past him, Steven. It's only been 3 years, and it was tough
Yeah.
filming anything during that age. So who knows at this point?
Yeah, listen. All I know is that I didn't really like the first movie that much, so I don't care
Liked
that it
it.
got
It was
canceled.
nice. I don't know. But anyway,
It
I
just
think that's
looked weird.
yeah. Outside of that,
Oh,
that's most of the leaks and stuff, at least that we're gonna spend time on
yeah.
in this
We got
pod.
one. Wait. Two more things I'd like to talk about. One, we got this hot off the press. Sanic, you just tagged me in it. Pokemon Legends Arceus in the files for the prototype was supposed to have voice acting. Why the fuck did they get rid
Gosh
of that?
dang it.
Why do
Oh.
they do this? Why do they get rid of nice things?
Hey, you know what? If they had voice acting in the prototypes, I'm crossing my fingers if Legend ZA would have it. If not for sure, Pokemon Generation 10, at least it's been conceptualized as like, hey, we need to move in this direction. We didn't get it in Generation 9. So fingers crossed we'll get it to show up at some point. Please, Nintendo. I mean, those dialogue boxes can only go so far. All right, and then
Well,
what was the other
yeah,
one?
especially yeah, and the other one was just everything involving Typhlosion. I just thought we should have a moment of silence for the victims. Those stories are really dark, Zord. I'm surprised they even thought about those.
Nah, man, I feel like that's like one of those weird origin stories things, and then obviously they were just going to water it down, but no one
Yeah, no,
decided
that
to.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
the point. The point was that they'd water it down, but that was like what the what it was based off. Let's do this. Let's make a really fucked up story and then tell a kiddie version of it.
yeah,
That was what they were going for.
yeah. That's basically what they were doing.
And just everyone, I just love all the memes about Typhlosion. It's been really funny.
I'll pour one out to you, my boy. I love all my fire starters, and
I know
that's
for
just
for
rough. That's just
alligator
rough.
for alligators now the best Gen 2 starter since Typhlosion got canceled.
No, no, that dude still beats for alligator.
I
I don't care what you say.
whatever.
It's an art. Anyway, that's pretty much all we're going to talk about, at least for now, for the Pokemon leagues. If anything
Unless
else
more
super,
comes.
yeah, unless anything super major breaks out of it within the next 2 weeks, then we'll revisit the topic.
Apparently
But hmm,
apparently the leaker is uploading the Switch source code, like Sword and Shield source code, but it's gonna take a while.
yeah.
Uh,
So I don't
that's
know.
that's that's apparently what's happening. It's
Yeah.
crazy
So
because the Legends Arceus prototype that happened today, and yesterday he was like, "Oh, nothing else is happening." And then we got this prototype today.
yeah. So we'll see if this leaker is going to get caught within the next 2 weeks, though, because I know Nintendo sent out a bunch of their ninjas and a bunch of their lawyers and stuff because they don't play around with this mess, though. Especially the
Nintendo will
Pokemon
execute
Company as
them.
well with their own people as well. So good gracious, we'll see how all of this unfolds though, but we'll keep y'all in the loop. And outside of that, that basically does it in terms of all of our gaming news. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing. All right, Steven. So it's been quite a crazy couple of weeks. And in particular, we had two gaming releases come out that I at least want to give like a big major focus on. And the first one on the docket, which I know you hadn't played it, but I put quite a bit of time up in it, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Oh shoot, man. I've been waiting on this man since Tenkaichi 2. And I've been loving every little bit out of this. It feels like I've been playing like a whole or been witnessing like the anime all over again because with all these different what if scenarios that you have in the main storyline and such, man, it's so rewarding and stuff. So it's like obviously you get to
Yeah.
go through, you play from different people's characters' viewpoints. So like you play from uh, Goku's viewpoint, then Gohan's, Frieza. You even got weird characters up in there also, like a Jiren, even though I think Jiren's episode is like really short or whatever. But no, I just love the character diversity up in here. This is like one of the largest rosters for any Dragon Ball game in general because anything with the Tenkaichi series, you get to go through and play as like literally almost anybody from the anime. Stuff is old from like the Dragon Ball series, the Dragon Ball Z, the GT era. Now we got the Super era up in here, plus along with all those other like Dragon Ball Z movies that we had across that time period as well. So I was like, man, between all the characters, the interactions, there's so many different modes up in here. Like this is gonna be like my new Splatoon game for the PlayStation 5 because that's the system I picked it out on. So I can easily see myself going back and revisiting this game time and time again, especially now that there's also an online mode where you're actually able to go through and just challenge people randomly online. Because back in the day, I was a heavy Gohan user, King Gohan. Super Saiyan 2, that's where it was at. Between him and Majin Buu, those were usually my go-tos. I still rep Super Saiyan 3 Goku. It's always cool just rocking all that hair and stuff though. I hadn't nailed down exactly which character I would like to use yet because I'm just been trying to go through and work my way through the story mode because there's a lot of stuff to do, and a lot of characters you have to still go through and unlock. They give you quite a bit to unlock at the start, but there's a lot that you just got to do the different modes in the game, accumulate the currency, and then buy them. And it's not just buying the characters; you get to buy out different costumes and stuff, and also even like the interactions and stuff. Like it's always timeless. It's always a timeless classic to have like for example, I'll give one scenario real quick. You can choose Goten, right? And then you can also choose the fusion of Kefla and Caulifla. And when they interact in a battle or something like that, Goten, being the little kid he is, he's like, all right, go easy on me, mom. And then the fused girls will be something like, hey Brett, I'm not your mom or something on the lines of that though, but don't go trying home after I give you this beat down or something like that. I'm not sure exactly how it's worded though. I can't think of it off the top of my mind though, but it's something around um something around those words or something like that. I just love the interactions that you have in this game in general though. And they added quite a bit of extra new stuff in terms of like the way how you fight beyond like just the standard stuff that you're used to within the past games and stuff. And I love that mode where it's like if you press dodge at the right time, not the block, but the dodge, you do like that little slow mo, and then it's like you just dodge all these punches that are coming. Like the impact frames up on this thing. Oh my gosh, I can
It
gush about this game all day long, Steven.
I get you. It looks like a really fun game. I've seen gameplay, obviously. Sanicu was playing it, and he played some of the story mode as well.
Yeah, because
I'm
I like
I'm
how Sonic
interested.
Youth he said he wasn't gonna get this game. I was like, bro, there's no way. If you grew up playing the second one, I had the second one on the Wii. My cousin had the third one on the Xbox 360 back in the day. If you grew up playing this mess, there's no way you didn't pick up this game around launch. And Bandai Namco came out with a statement saying, hey, within the first 24 hours of this game dropping, it sold 3 million copies. That's fast for just an anime game in general, let alone a third party game in general. Like that's crazy. Now I know they technically sold really expensive versions for this game where it's like, oh, okay, you can buy the deluxe edition thing for $100, but that comes with all the future DLC. Me, I was like, eh. And also you could play it early. I think like 3 days early, but I was like, no, I got to get this physical because I was like, I really love this series a lot. It's definitely one of the first anime games I'd ever played. And then since then, I went through and played different things like Dragon Ball Fighter Z or Xenoverse 2 or Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and stuff like that. I went back and played a bunch of other stuff though. But no, the Tenkaichi series, that's what got me into it. That's my main bread and butter. So I knew I had to get this game physical. And I'll get the DLC later when they drop out in 2025 or something like that. But overall, I've been loving the heck out of this game. I need to put more time up in it though. There's a lot of games coming out though, but this is just the game I'm gonna just keep coming back to time and time again. It's just a timeless classic. So if you hadn't picked up this game, you like Dragon Ball, you should do it because you're doing yourself a disservice if you hadn't. All right. If I hadn't sold you on the game at that point, then I don't know what will. Any thoughts on what I said, Steven? Because Steven's trying. Oh, not Steven. Me and Sonic, you are trying to get you to get into the Dragon Ball series, and you're going slowly through Dragon Ball. What was the latest update on that?
Latest update is that Goku went to the city and the police officer helped him find Bulma's house.
Okay, man, you still got a lot to go until you hit Z.
You
Yeah, we
goddamn
we
right,
got
Zard.
we gotta push that. And when you get to Z, you're watching Z Kai. You don't need to watch a bunch of that random old filler. You're gonna jump into Z Kai.
I
It'll
don't
keep
know.
it'll keep it'll keep you more engaged, and I like the
You say
music
that,
score
but
better.
uh, Dragon Ball's pretty funny so far. I'm fine with watching filler.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you really want to watch some of the fillers, I'll tell you the filler arcs, and you can jump back to the original Z. But no,
No,
the
no,
way how the
Sonic,
way
you
how they
had.
did Z Kai, man. I mean, that's just the way to go. All right, but outside of that, that's all I'm gonna chill about for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It's a great, phenomenal game, and I have a game finally I can keep coming back to the PlayStation 5 and keep playing time and time again. That feels real nice right there, just to be able to say that. All right, and then lastly, the one other game I wanted to focus on is Super Mario Party Jamboree. ND Cube has knocked this one out of the park on this one because man, oh man, This is great. This is great stuff right
Yeah,
here, Steven.
they made an original one that I like. I like this one so far a lot.
Yeah, because like what we both picked this up around launch day and stuff, and I felt like you played it a little bit more than me, but at
Yes, I
least
probably did. You had
and it,
stuff to do, so sadly it didn't really work out scheduling wise.
yeah, so at least I got to play with you. I think 2 times already.
Yes, yes.
But I will say, hey, this is a major upgrade in terms of the first Super Mario Party game that we got on the Nintendo Switch originally. Because that game only came out
Oh,
with 4 boards. This one came out with 7. And not just 7. You had 2 of them that were original classics, one from the Rainbow Castle from Mario Party 1, and then you have Western Land from Mario Party 2, along with 5 that are just brand new and exclusive to this version alone. So I was like, okay, you're already doing good
yeah.
stuff right there. The motion mini games that you had in Super aren't necessarily required when you're playing through these games. You can limit them. So I was like, okay, that's good if you just want to do nothing but just stuff with a pro controller. But if you want to do the motions and stuff, hey, you can just play the games with Joy-Con. So it's like you got options in this game, is what I like, along with the fact that you have a story mode that feels quite different. It's not like traditional, like you playing the original Mario Party maps. It's like a fetch fetch quest. It's like the way how you described it, which I think perfectly suits it. You had
It's like
Bowser
Mario
Caboose
Party
Squad
Advance.
and yeah, Mario Party Advance. Yeah, that's
That's the
basically
best.
what it is.
That's honest. It is. Mario Party Advance sucked. This is good.
Yeah, so you had all of that. Then you had the Bowser Caboon Squad, the Koopathlon. Bowser Caboon Squad, you do it with up to 8 people. The Koopathlon, you do it up to 20. And then you had like the other couple of side things that you can do that aren't necessarily online, like the ones where you use your Joy Cons and stuff, like the Rhythm House, the Toad House thing. What's the Toad House one called?
Toad's Item Factory.
Item Factory. Yeah.
It gave me Mario Kart nostalgia because Toad's Factory from Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah. I think that's the only one I don't think I really mess with yet. So yeah, you
It's
got
a simple puzzle thing from what I've heard.
puzzle stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah. So,
you push a ball through a maze, I think.
mhm. So yeah, so those are pretty much all of the different things. You have a couple unlockable characters, but it's like once you told me how you unlock those characters, it was just as simple as opening up like the world map and finding them and zooming in. I was like, dang, like why in the world did they even make them unlockable? I thought they would
Yeah,
at least put it behind this little battle pass thing that they got up in the game.
calling them unlockable is stupid. They're not yeah, yeah, I guess they're unlockable, but it's the same way that DLC is unlockable. Yeah, if you buy the DLC, you unlock it immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, this roster, man, oh man, 22 playable characters. Because obviously the Koopathlon thing is like a 20-player game, so they had to have at least that many different characters or whatever to at least make you look a little unique. But I love the diversity up in here. I love all of the different mini games. Like I felt like I played a few mini games a few different times. I like how you don't have to go through and unlock all the mini games. Like that's a pain doing that mess in like Mario Party 2 on NSO. I was like, oh shoot. So I like how you kind of have all that stuff just access to right out the gate. And outside of that, I just love all the different multiplayer stuff you're able to do. Stuff from the traditional 4 player online, which they did carry a lot of those assets over from Superstars on over. So they took the best elements from that and took some, like, I would say pre alpha ideas, stuff that were kind of cool on
Yeah.
paper with Super Mario Party, but they reworked them, like the buddy system and stuff. And I think now it's like
Yeah.
perfectly balanced, where it's like,
Every
okay.
they took elements from basically every single Mario Party game, especially the board design. These boards, they feel like they came right out of like Mario Party 7, or
And
they're
so
like,
far, I hadn't even played on all the boards. The only ones I've done thus far was the Wiggler one and
well,
the
yeah,
Mall.
7 is a lot better than 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially because listen, I like the boards in Superstars, but I don't regularly find myself wanting to play Woody Woods, you know? S-
No, that was the worst one they could have picked from Mario Party 3 in that one. Like they could have chose
Woody Woods
They could have chose
no, for
Creepy
me
Cavern. They could have
Yeah,
chose the blooper one. They could have chose the chili winners one stage or whatever though. They could have chose
I don't.
Waluigi's map. Any of those would have been better than Woody Woods. I think literally that's the worst one in Mario Party 3.
It has the best music, so I'll take it for that.
It has good
Honestly,
music. I ain't
has
gonna
really
disregard that, but
really good music, especially in Superstars. They remixed it for the last 5 turns. Woody Woods remix is really good. It's weird. I guess they just wanted something that was a little more like generic grass, like grass area. They're all varied maps. I like the boards in Superstars, but that's the thing. They're all from Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. There's only so much with some of those boards you could do. But then in this one, you got both Western Land, which is a really good one, and Mario's Rainbow Castle is like one of the stupidest Mario Party 1 boards, and they made it a lot better. Because I'm assuming you've seen it where it was in on the Mario. Well, were you there when we played the Mario Party 1 board, Rainbow Castle? Was
I
that
wasn't there.
there's an item that lets you change whether or not it's Toad or Bowser on top, depending on chance.
Oh yeah, no, that was the most annoying thing playing that map on Mario Party 1. It was like, what the heck? It's like you have to time out your stuff beautifully. Like, usually you always want to get high number dice to kind of go as fast as you can, but on that one, it's all about pacing. It's like you know, you could
It
throw
fucking
somebody
sucks.
off by flipping that thing to
Fucking sucks
Bowser.
on that one.
Yeah. So I think overall, I just love all the features and stuff. And then we didn't even get into like all of the little stuff, like where you get the currency and stuff from the battle pass and stuff. That's how you go through and unlock like a few of the different unlockable maps between the two Nintendo 64 maps, as well as the one that's exclusive, the Bowser stage one that you unlock that's for like the modern day one. So it's like you got stuff tied behind that. You get currency and stuff where you're able to go through and buy different stickers, things to customize your Mario Party card thing, which I think people would view online kind of similar to Superstars, but it's a little bit different. And then also like you got like a music house and stuff, and then all of that's really based upon the achievements because the achievements is kind of unlocks more of that stuff in that shops for you to go through and buy
Yeah.
those. So there's a lot
Well,
of stuff to do even in that little mini hub world.
yeah, because even just all of the side modes. Let's just say you play. You could. I think the fun part, Zard, is that let's just say you play Mario Party, you finish your board, you don't really want to do another board right away. You could like separate it by playing like Bowser's Kaboom Squad in between
And that
or
takes about like
Koopathlon.
20-ish minutes. And the
But like,
Kupathalong, even the longest one for that, I think is like 30-ish
eight.
minutes, but yeah, it's
No,
not.
it takes like 8.
Well, no, it depends on how many laps you're doing.
Yeah, 7 laps,
I'm
which the
just I'm just
maximum took us 8. It's not a long mode,
it
Koopathlon.
yeah, so maybe 20 minutes at most. But I felt like it wasn't stupidly long, but
Yeah,
it
but
definitely wasn't really really short. But yeah.
the fact it just gives it so much, so much more interesting stuff to do at least.
Yeah, so it's like between that and even the story mode itself, if you want to do the story mode also has a totally different vibe. So between story mode, the Kupathalon, and the Bowser Kaboom Squad. Those are all three unique modes, and you can do those. One being offline, the other two you can do online with just random people. And then there's also those other few things like the Rhythm House things where you could do certain mini games like that. That also have like a different vibe from your just
Yeah,
traditional mini games and stuff though. So there's a lot of diversity up in this game, which
there's
I think that's the biggest thing that shines the most in this game.
it's not perfect though. That's what I'll say so far. And when I say not perfect, I mean there's not as much of mini game variety as I'd hoped. There's only like if you don't play with motion controls, there's only like 28 free for all mini games when Superstars had 50.
Mm.
Because Zard, here's the thing: this game, quote unquote, has the most has the most mini games in the entire series. But those mini games are spread out across all these different modes.
Oh yeah, because like even those
10 for
the
Kapathlon, 10 for Bowser Kaboom, 5 for the boss mini games. Like there's just a lot of mini games that they. Oh, and 10 showdown mini games, even though those are part of the main mode technically.
Yeah, or were you talking about with those showdown ones? You were talking about the character ones
Yeah,
where you get the buddies.
yeah,
Yeah, like I think some those are some of the best
and
mini
then
game ones. Oh, obviously they take
yeah,
up
it
quite a
just
bit of time, but like having the Wario one be focused around like WarioWare style things. Waluigi's just literally playing pinball and stuff. Yoshi is
it's
like
great.
you're doing an obstacle course running around. I think those are the best, well crafted
I
mini
think
games I've ever seen in any Mario Party game. I'll just
I
go ahead and say that right
yeah,
now.
well, yeah, because they're longer. I want to see more stuff like that. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
so
want to
I
see
think it's
more.
yeah, it's like striking a
Yeah,
nice balance between the short stuff, which you don't want nothing stupidly long while you're doing a big,
yeah,
long 2 hour long Mario Party game. That makes sense. But just having those pop up just randomly throughout your experience, I think is really good.
yeah. I gotta play more of the game and just see like balancing wise how it is. Because a
Yeah.
Mario Party game, it's more than just chaotic. Which, oh yeah, by the way, this game is very chaotic so far.
Oh yeah, so many different items up in this one in comparison to the past ones. It's kind of hard to keep up, honestly.
We landed on Bowser a lot, and also the fact that having a Jamboree buddy makes you do Bowser twice is stupid, but I love it. It's funny.
Man, he robbed you blind the other night. He robbed you
Yeah,
blind. He stole 20 coins. He saw
yeah,
you had what was it? You had Waluigi with you, I think. He took you back
yeah,
down and stole your other 20 and left you with zip.
yeah, exactly. And then the game is just as bullshit as I'd hoped because at the end of the game that me and you played in the mall last night, chance time made you win the game.
Hey man, I'm just that good. I'm just that good.
I just always think it's really funny when chance time does stuff like that. So yeah, this game's good. It's chaotic as hell, which is what Mario Party should be. It's got good mini games, and by the way, most of these are skill based. There's really only like two that are like based entirely on luck.
Yeah, it's all about checks and balances. You got to have at least a few luck ones up in it. It ain't a Mario
Yeah,
Party game and until you
it
have like
ain't a
that
Mario
random
Party
luck
without the
power.
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
overall, I'll give
So
Indie Cube. I give Indie Cube a win on this one though. They came up with a good comeback and a good follow up to Superstars. The Superstars was great. Just going back and revisiting the classic era of Mario Party games. And maybe they'll just keep rotating back and forth between a brand new Super Mario Party and then having a formula that's kind of close to Superstars where they pick like a generation of different maps because I feel like they can go back and forth. Like that's like I guess quote unquote like remakes of older Mario parties. It's not quote unquote a remake, but it's like remaking certain maps and like adding like a fresh coat of paint on there in terms of like the music and stuff though, but then bringing back so many different other classic mini games and such. Maybe they just keep rotating back and forth between that and the newest Super Mario Party entry. And I think if they keep doing that with this new online mode and stuff, which I feel like it works pretty good as long as everybody has a good internet connection. Ale. But outside of that,
damn.
I think we're I think they're good with Mario Party. I think it's back to form, and I think we're solid as long as they don't mess this up with the next one. I think we're back in a good era of Mario Party, and that's good to say right there.
I know. I really hope that this isn't just a single game and that they just keep making good ones. They just keep doing more good ones is what would be great.
Yeah. So honestly, great game. If you're sitting on the fence about it, based upon everything we said, we highly recommend getting this game. I, I'm kind of curious about sales on this one too because I'm trying to think back to how well Super Mario Party somehow. Gosh dang it, that's still in like the top 10 of all Switch games that have sold on the system for the Switch in general.
Sold like 20 million.
Yeah, so I'm like, and Superstars, I think did at least 6 or 7 million, must have been. I felt like, or somewhere around there. I have to look that back up. Wait, look it up for me, Steven, real quick.
Just superstars?
Yeah, for Superstars, I feel like it has
It,
to be somewhere around 6 or 7 at least.
it was like 13 million.
Or was it 13? Well, I mean, yeah, that kind of sounds right too.
Let me find it. It sold really well. Almost 13 million copies. It is in the top 20, barely.
Okay, so yeah, so 13. So with this one, unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna beat out the first one because it's at the
No, it's
later
not.
points of the the Switch's life, unfortunately. So I don't expect it to sell
But
more than the first
listen,
one, but it honestly
I'm
should though.
sure I'm sure that this game will meet Nintendo's expectations even just by selling like 10 million,
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
which is still a lot, Zard. You'd think, knowing the casual audience, some people would be like, "Oh, we already have a Mario Party. Why do we need another one?"
No, no, no. If you really know your
But
Mario Party stuff, shoot.
no, I
No,
know.
Mario Nintendo 64 had 3, the GameCube had 4, the Wii had 2, the Wii U
No,
only
I'm
had
just
1.
no, I'm just knowing the casual, stupid audience nowadays. I'm surprised that Nintendo doesn't do it differently. Maybe that's why they called this one Super Mario Party and instead of Mario Party Superstars 2 or whatever.
No, no, no. The Super part, I think it's just the new mainline series thing. Like that's how they split it up from
Maybe.
instead of doing 1 through 10, like Super is technically like the 11th major one in the series or whatever. But and I think Superstars, they might keep that term for like the remade stuff in between the mainline Super ones. I'm thinking that's what my
Oh,
gut's telling me. But
yeah, but honestly, Hudson Soft used to be in charge of these games. I completely trust ND Cube with Mario Party. They have proven that they know what makes a Mario Party good. You need you need chaotic gameplay, you need interesting boards with tons of ways to go, and you need just fun mini games. You
yeah.
don't need much more than that, but they somehow just constantly drop the ball.
Yep, yep, yep. All right. Well, Steven, I think that
What?
just about wraps it up
I
on
think
everything
so.
we've
Yeah.
been. Yeah, because it's like, dang, we went a little bit into overtime, just a little bit though. But we have to give out
Yeah.
the last little bit of props for Super Mario Party right there though. But overall, not a bad couple of weeks. Now, honestly, we're gonna have some stuff to look forward to with that Switch Online test. I think that's like the biggest thing that most eyes are kind of flipping towards to at least for the rest of this week though. And who knows what's gonna happen in you know with that situation and anything else that might possibly be announced though. But Steven, it's time to let the fine people know where they can find you at as we're about to
You
wrap things up.
you can find me on twitter.com/Stephen Jr. 1231. It's Twitter. I'm not calling it X. You could also find me on a collab channel I do with some friends called Spaghetti Disco,
All right.
and
And
that's basically all I am. All that's all that's the only places where I am.
okay. All right. Well, that's going to do it in terms of my ZardCast episode 90. The big 90 has some big fat news. All right. So, with all that being said, if you happen to be watching this on the YouTube side of things, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game. Oh, shoot. I had something in my throat. For all things gaming that I feel like talking about and discussing. If you happen to be one of my audio listeners, make sure you're going to hit the like button. Go ahead and leave a short review if it allows you to do so, and just let people know we're just a couple of dudes that like talking about pop culture stuff as well as gaming news and everything else in between. Though, but that's truly going to do it for my episode 90, y'all. So remember, y'all, until our video I make next, until my next Zardcast episode, that being my episode 91. I'll see y'all later.